in my opinion, was the biggest news of yesterday. It's been back and forth with what Charlotte is going to do at the number 2 pick in tomorrow's NBA draft. Will it be Scoot Henderson? Will it be Brandon Miller? Well, it seems like yesterday we got some answers. Here is ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski yesterday saying what Charlotte is planning to do at number 2 in the NBA draft.
Well, not just that, but the other part of this that's coming out too is outgoing governor Michael Jordan,
Jeffrey Jordan,
is said to be basically making this pick. He has the final call.
I can't.
That's insane.
I cannot believe it. I mean, this guy is literally out the door. The team has been sold. We know who's going to be the ownership group. And yet Mitch Kupchak comes out today.
I like Mick
Kupchak. We all know him from his time with the Los Angeles Lakers as their GM. He's now the Charlotte GM and has been for a good handful of years here. He said this morning that Michael Jordan will be making the pick at number 2, or will have the final say in the pick at number 2, which is just absolutely insane. Here is Adrian Wojnarowski on what Charlotte is planning to do at number 2.
Alabama's Brandon Miller further solidified his standing as Charlotte's choice at number 2 with a workout in meetings he had in Charlotte yesterday. This is the first time Michael Jordan, the outgoing majority owner in Charlotte, had a chance to watch Miller in person, to sit down and meet with him. And both Miller and Scoot Henderson came back to Charlotte for second workouts, second meetings, and I'm told Miller was better the second time around in that environment than he had been the first time. And certainly positionally, Miller's advantage over Scoot Henderson in Charlotte is that they've got a point guard in LaMelo Ball in Charlotte, who's they believe is a franchise-level point guard. And right now, Brandon Miller continues to be the focus for the Hornets at number 2.
Jay, I'm shaking my head. I mean, I've got no problem with Brandon Miller as a prospect, but when I hear Woj say there that it's essentially a positional decision, it's mainly because they feel like they have a point guard and are more thinking positionally, the fit with LaMelo Ball. I just can't help but think of the mistake that the Sacramento Kings made with doing this with Marvin Bagley, where they essentially think that they can't take Luka Doncic because they don't want to take the ball out of De'Aaron's hands. You can also make the same argument that the Golden State Warriors did this with passing on LaMelo Ball over James Wiseman, where, you know, they essentially didn't take LaMelo because the fit is a little clunky with Steph and Clay, and Wiseman is obviously more of an open position. What do you think about the logic of taking a guy, especially, you know, a draft prospect, a guy that we really don't know how they're going to pan out, but how do you feel about taking a guy positionally over what seems to be a higher upside swing in Scoot Henderson?
I've always felt this way. I will continue to feel this way until the day I die. If you are a bottom 5 team in the draft, meaning you're picking 1 through 5.
Yeah.
You're in no place to be taking a guy for position.
Yes.
You need talent and you need it desperately. Couple things with that. Number 1, I agree. Brandon Miller positionally does fit.
Absolutely.
Number 2, who cares?
Yes. Agreed.
I believe that Scoot and LaMelo could play with each other. LaMelo is good off of the ball.
Yep.
40% three-point shooter.
Might actually do him some help. You know,
Yeah,
it's good
exactly.
to learn how to play off ball.
Also, why are we so of the opinion that LaMelo Ball is going to be healthy?
Right.
2 out of his 3 seasons have been injury riddled.
Yes.
Look what's happened to his brother in Chicago. And there feels like injury and the ball boys might go hand in hand.
It seems like it.
And so, again, I just feel like, while I think Brandon Miller has potential to have an exceptionally good NBA career,
Right.
Scoot just has all these intangibles
Yeah.
about him.
Yeah.
I mean, from his body size to his ability to go downhill,
Right.
finish at the rim. I feel like shooting is one of the easiest things to teach at the pro level. Like, the things that Scoot does, you don't teach,
No,
right?
Exactly.
The dude is chiseled at 19.
Mhm.
Is a man's body. He's going to score from day 1.
Right.
And if you're the Hornets, and going back to Michael, that's the part that perplexes me more than anything. And I don't mean this as an indictment on Brandon Miller, but if Michael's picking you over Scoot,
Track record says
Michael's going to make the wrong pick here.
Exactly. Yeah. That to me is absolutely insane. I just don't understand. How is, like, if let's just put this on the Kings. I mean, and I know it's a little bit the power dynamic. Vivek Ranadive is not Michael Jordan. He is not the greatest basketball player who's ever stepped on a floor. And so Michael has a little bit more cachet built in. But imagine any other team saying, and their GM openly says, yeah, at the end of the day, the decision is the owner's. It's not mine as the GM, the guy that the owner hired to have this decision-making process go through. I just don't understand how this isn't being made a bigger thing. I don't understand how they're allowing this to happen in the Charlotte organization. Like, especially if you're the new owners. I mean, I guess, like, you know, people have you're going to have a certain level of respect for Mike.
New ownership has a say.
Yes.
But if Michael has the final say, here's the other thing I've taken of it. Then Michael's always had the final say. Which,
for sure.
To me, I mean, I don't think that's a huge expose.
No.
But it just goes to show Mitch Kupchak is there to make Michael's picks for him.
Yes,
right?
exactly.
And make Michael's trades for him. And make Michael's free agent sightings for him.
I wonder how far that extends. I wonder if it is really just the draft, or I'm sure clearly from this, I mean, this tells you that he's had a hand in everything, which is also probably why we talked about it the other day on Monday when we did the show. It was, you know, Mike's had a really, really bad history as the owner of the Charlotte Hornets. Like, they've never finished above a 6 seed. They've never advanced out of the first round. And this is exactly why when you have an owner make decisions instead of putting people in charge in basketball positions, which we're going to talk a little bit about something like that a little later. But when you don't put your basketball people actually in charge of making decisions, you're going to make the wrong one. And it's just like there's no single person who's going to have the right answers. You're going to have to come up as a team and make those answers. And it's just it's borderline malpractice. I will say it. It's borderline malpractice. You made the Vivek comparison about not being that guy, but Vivek for the very, I mean, several, I mean, up until recently, you would always hear was, you know, meddling in decision making.
We literally watched it on video.
We did. Stauskas? Yeah, I think we're all good on we're all agreeing on Stauskas here, right? Yes.
Right.
Cool. No one's detracting. Cool. Great.
Yeah. That pick worked out super well.
So well. I mean, exactly. Like that's the kind of thing. Like those are the kind of decisions where, you know, when people who don't know basketball are in charge or aren't, you know, don't spend their lives trying to figure out these prospects. Like when you have those people not in charge, like you're going to make the wrong decision.
And now you're picking a guy who, in an interview this morning during media day, in Brandon Miller, quote, I actually don't think LeBron is the GOAT of basketball.
Oh, boy.
My GOAT of basketball is, guys, care to take a guess?
Something tells me it's his future employer.
No.
Michael Jordan? Okay, then probably Kobe.
No.
Okay, he's not a Kobe stan.
Current player.
KD?
No.
I'm trying to think because he's
Giannis.
positional.
Nope.
Steph? Then?
Nope.
Oh, my gosh. Marvin Bagley? Like, what? Where?
No.
Luka? Jokic?
Plays in the Pacific Division.
Booker?
Nope.
My goodness. Kawhi?
Nope.
Bro.
Paul George.
Paul George isn't even the best player on his team, let alone he's not the best forward on his team.
That's his GOAT.
GOAT, greatest of all time.
My GOAT of basketball is Paul George.
Now, I'm okay with you saying he's my favorite player.
Yes. Exactly. Exactly.
But my GOAT of basketball?
Yeah.
No problem with replicate my game after Paul George.
The guy that got roasted for never hitting a game-winning shot and then had a Gatorade commercial.
Playoff T.
Making a game-winning shot.
Incredible. So that's the kind of decision maker that they're picking at too, instead of, and again, like I've seen some Brandon Miller clips. I haven't done nearly as much research on Brandon Miller or the top of this draft as I have on the back end. But just from everything I see, it just seems like Scoot Henderson to me is your prototypical, like, upswing guy. Like he's the Ja Morant profile. He's the Russell Westbrook profile, an incredibly athletic guard. Just does it. Those player models don't come by often.
He's the dude that has an amazing floor and even a more amazing ceiling.
Right. Because I mean, really the only thing he's missing is the jump shot. He's got just about everything else. You hear he's a good guy. He's great at attacking the rim. He seems to have a real level of professionalism. He's been in the G League Ignite system for 2 years now. So you have to feel like he probably has a good understanding. And let's not also forget, and let the past be the past, but Brandon Miller did have some off the court issues. Some. Well,
very significant off the court issues.
It is. Yeah, for sure. But I mean, just the fact that they're overlooking all of that and it's, I don't know.
Sounds very Michael Jordan.
It does. It really, really does. And this sounds like a good swan song for Michael Jordan to have as his last possible move as the governor of the Charlotte Hornets. And it just seems like he's going to go out how he went in.
Give Michael credit, though. He is making Scoot going to the Blazers at 3 very interesting.
Dude, and that makes a very interesting decision with Portland, who has been wrestling with the decision of, do we trade number 3 and try and build a contender around Damian Lillard while he's still, in his peak? Or do they make the pick and kind of usher out of this Damian Lillard era?
I don't know if you saw Wendy yesterday on ESPN saying that Portland would like to make and pick Scoot and feel like they can also bring in the vet pieces around Dame at the same time. I'm here to tell you, I don't think they can.
Yeah, good luck with that. I mean, we'll put a pin in that. We'll talk about that on the other side of the break. This is Kris and Company with tons of company today, right here on Sactown Sports 1140 and SactownSports.com.
The Kings season might be over, but Sactown Sports coverage never stops.
We, as a team, have a ways to go. This is something that you want to be able to build off of.
Stay tuned all off-season to Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com for the latest Kings news.
The roar of our engines, the pump of our heartbeats, the pedal to our metal, the sparks that ignite us, the pistons that push us, the passions that drive us. From the feelings that move us to the places that pull us on the roads that unite us. With nearly 6,000 stores and over 17,000 auto care centers, Napa has America's largest network of parts and care, here to keep you firing on all cylinders.
When you take the time to shop at Folsom Lake Honda, there's one thing you'll always find: happy people ready to serve you. As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our #1 priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too. Get an instant cash offer for your trade at FolsomLakeHonda.com. We'll buy your car whether you buy from us or not. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
Live and local, it's Kris and Company with Chris Watkins on Sactown Sports.
Kris and Company right now by Jay Mars. We ended that last segment talking about the Portland Trailblazers and their decision at number 3. It's been talked about for really the past couple weeks here, with Damian Lillard's future kind of in a state of flux, I guess you could say. Portland has a decision to make on whether or not they want to continue to try and extend out this Damian Lillard era and see if they can compete, or they have the number 3 pick in the draft, which at this point seems like Scoot Henderson will be falling right into their laps, and they can take Scoot and usher in a brand new era of Blazer basketball, and also move on from Dame and pick up some pieces there.
Which makes a lot of sense logically.
Boy, does it. And we'll start with that. Yeah. So you feel like the right move is for Portland to ship off Dame?
Yeah, you've been making the wrong move all these years by what you've decided to put around him.
Sure.
Like, Portland hasn't been the worst ran basketball team in the last 10 years, but they've been one of the more puzzling teams. Like, I thought they stuck with the Dame CJ backcourt way too long.
Right.
And to the point where you didn't even really get much of a return for CJ at that point, where at one time I thought you could have found another piece to pair with Dame that would have been much more competitive.
Absolutely. I mean, it seemed like they were in a state of limbo, like purgatory, really, for a long time, where it was like, okay, the Blazers are really solid, but they're still missing that one guy to take them over the hump. And they tried to bring in Carmelo. That obviously didn't quite work out. And then, shipped off CJ McCollum, to your point, a little bit too late, and really haven't gotten the pieces necessary to build around Dame with that trade.
So this also might be the best situation ever if you bring in a guy that could be the guy for you for the next 15 years and say, oh, goodbye to the guy that we had for 15 years.
It's like it's a perfect
like,
opportunity.
no one would really be like furious at anybody about this situation.
No, especially because for Dame, you're going to get a nice haul.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely. And this might be one of the last times. Like, I don't know if next year you can get a great haul for Dame. He's going to be another year older. Who knows? It's just, you never know what's going to happen.
Right now, he's still an all-NBA player.
Totally. Absolutely. And you can still convince yourself, like, Damian Lillard can can be a 1A or a 1B on a title team. Who knows if you'll feel that way, next season or moving forward. So I agree with you. I think that this is the best possible time for Portland to move on. They have the number 3 pick. Again, you can get some real value or a good return for what you get for Dame. And it just seems like a perfect point to usher in a new era. You got young guys like Anthony Simons to pair along Scoot. You got Shaedon Sharpe last year that you can pair with Scoot. Those are 3 really, really good young pieces. And then who knows, you probably won't be very good next year.
You could trade Simons too and get some other pieces.
Absolutely.
And just tank it for a couple years. Find more guys, young guys to put around Scoot, put around Shaedon Sharpe. I just feel like there's a part of me that too feels like Portland is just posturing, right? Yeah. Like when you're saying things such as we want to make the number 3 and build around Dame, like it's not a thing.
Yeah.
So what is it? Do you really think that is their game plan? Or what is the game plan? Because I just don't feel like there's another guy out there as a 2 that's going to make Portland a title contender. Because at this point, you're trying to compete for a title, not playoff spots anymore. You've been there. You've done that. Dame doesn't want that. Dame wants to be in title contention.
Title. Yeah, he wants to win titles. I think the Portland front office, if they could have their wish, I think it would be for them to take Scoot at 3 and keep Dame for the time being and try and see what Dame and Scoot look like. And I know you already tried what a backcourt pairing with Dame and CJ, and that, that got you to a certain point, but couldn't get you further. I don't think doing that is going to bring Portland any sort of, conference finals appearances or anything. But, I think that maybe you can get Dame maybe you can reinvigorate Dame to want to stay. And Dame has not said at any point that he would like to leave Portland.
But he wants to win a title.
He has said also that he would like them to use their number 3 pick to try and win the title this year. So there's definitely going to have to be some explaining to Dame. But I think when you see Scoot play, Dame might just be like, this guy looks like he could be like Dame can try and usher in that era with him.
I'm not arguing that. I just don't think he wants to. I don't think he's there, man. I really don't think at this point in his career, it's like, dude, I'm going to be a lifelong Blazer and usher in the new era.
Yeah. And that's always been Dame's MO. He's always said, Dame has always said he wanted to stay in Portland, but I think it's always been with the contingency of like you saying, I want to compete for titles. I think the question is like, where is somewhere that could take, like, where is a perfect Dame spot for right now? What do you trade though? Like,
I think it starts with Hero.
Got to start with Hero.
Who Pat Riley apparently doesn't want to trade, wants to build around, but I think Hero. I mean, you're automatically getting on Portland's radar with Tyler Hero. Sure. Plus, you have first round picks you can trade. Sure. You have some other young guys that you developed last year that'll be intriguing to a team like Portland. I think Miami can put together a competitive offer for Dame.
Yeah, I wonder what Dame's value. Like, I mean,
him and Bam Adebayo are boys. So I think you would get,
I know. Yeah, I mean, and that team with Bam, Jimmy, and Dame Dame fits into Heat culture perfectly.
And I trust Pat Riley to find pieces off the block to add into that rotation.
Right. Yeah.
He's shown that's just made a career of it.
Right. Especially with just guys like, I mean, it was talked about a ton how they have 6 undrafted guys on their roster and contributing exactly. And you with the large payroll that it would be to pay Bam, Jimmy, and Dame, you would have to use some of those gymnastics to try and find some lower value guys. So I could see Miami being a good fit. At the end of the day, I do think that Portland should move on from Dame. I just think that it's gonna be too soon to do it. I don't think there's gonna be a trade tomorrow for Damian Lillard, but I think down the line for sure, maybe in the middle of free agency, I think we see Dame moved. And I it's sad to see because there is something really cool about, at this point, Dame and Steph are really the 2 last guys. Man. It's crazy. And that just doesn't happen anymore. No. And it's sad to see that Portland couldn't ever build a good enough team around him. The conference final year was fun, but really,
that was a fluke.
When I think of like the Dame Portland era, it's just going to be the team they built around him was just, it was never good enough. I mean, it was always way too many, paying Al-Farouq Aminu, paying Nurkic. Mo Harkless, paying Nurkic. I mean, all of that stuff, I think it's just going to hamper them, and it has hampered them so far from really building
a lot of poor decision making. Yeah, not like, oh my God, lose your job, but also like you listed all those guys. There were so many different ways to either spend that money or make trade. It's just, again, It's a failure on the Blazers organization.
Yeah.
As much as I'd like to see Dame stay in the same spot, I feel like giving a team 11 years is like, you did your job. Dude.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, at that point, yeah, Damian Lillard is probably, I mean, would you say, I mean, Damian Lillard's hands down the greatest Blazer of all time. Yeah.
Yeah. You can make an argument for Drexler, I'm sure,
right.
but
took them to a title.
Bill Walton won them a title.
Bill Walton won them a title, right? But his career.
Oh, wait, have you guys seen that 30 for 30 with Bill Walton?
Yes.
Not yet.
Oh no, not the newest one. No.
Do yourself a favor.
I heard it's great.
I watched the Blazers have a 30 for 30 on like those 70s teams, and
Rip City teams.
Yes, the Rip City teams, and I did watch that, and I got a new love for Bill Walton after that. I mean,
Bill's great.
He's so, I mean, yeah, obviously as a personality, incredible, but like he was really like a mini like a Jokic light before Jokic was even thought of as being a player model.
Just want to put a bow real quick though on the Dame thing in Portland. To me, it's akin to KG in Minnesota. He gave them 12 years.
Yes,
he gave them 12 years.
Yes,
like
of really trying.
They had their time.
Yeah.
Let him go.
Let him go to greener pastures and let him try and legitimately win a title. I just hope that is not in LA.
I don't think it will be.
Before we go to break here, I do want to say that a trade has just came through via Adrian Wojnarowski. Obviously, the NBA draft is tomorrow. You can tune in right here to Sactown Sports 1140. Me and Jason Ross will be giving live coverage of the NBA draft from 6 to 9. But Woj puts out this. The Denver Nuggets are trading a 2024 first-round pick and the 40th pick in this year's draft to the Indiana Pacers for 29 and 32 tomorrow. So this is, again, the Denver Nuggets yet again moving draft picks and just continuing to try and build around their team of they're at this point a title winning team. And today Bruce Brown declined his player option, so clearly Denver is trying to now build this team around the edges with young draft pieces like Christian Brown.
Yeah, cheap money.
Exactly. Makes sense. And this is good GM work by Calvin Booth. And Denver now owns 29 and 32 in tomorrow's draft. A potential star could be on the move. Paul George is now in trade rumors. We'll talk about that next on the other side of the break. This is Kris and Company with Jay Mars on Sactown Sports 1140 and SactownSports.com.
Catch the Oakland A's every weekend on Sactown Sports. Friday nights, Saturdays, and Sundays.
Sinking, that's going to get down for a hit. Around third to score is Tony Kemp. And the A's have taken the lead. Edge of the track makes the catch. And the Athletics get a great win.
Sactown Sports, your weekend home for the Oakland A's.
Sactown Sports coverage of the Oakland A's is brought to you by Xfinity 10G, the next generation network.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by RC Willey Home Furnishings.
I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. Your Wednesday is here. It's also officially the first day of summer. Today comes in a little warmer than yesterday, but still below the average. Expect highs in the mid-80s with lows in the 50s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
New flooring instantly updates a room. RC Willey has an incredible selection of carpet, hardwood, tile, and laminate. Their experts will help you find the perfect floor for your home and schedule a free in-home measure. Shop RC Willey in Elk Grove or Rockland today.
Saturday, August 5th, Gold Country Casino Resort presents America live in concert. August 5th at 8 p.m. America, Saturday, August 5th at Gold Country Casino Resort in Oroville. Get your tickets now at goldcountrycasino.com. Only at Gold Country Casino Resort. Must be 21 or older.
At Ashton & Price, we get injury victims to yes. Experience, yes. Ashton & Price has been around for over 25 years. No more insurance companies? Yes. Our clients focus on getting better, and we handle all the rest. Results? Yes. We've collected over $100 million for injury victims. No fee until we win? Yes. Our clients pay nothing until we win. Ashton & Price, the best at getting to yes. Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
I can't wait for what's next. Even with higher stroke risk due to atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Eliquis, the Pixaban tablets, reduces stroke risk. It's the #1 cardiologist prescribed blood thinner.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without talking to your doctor, as this may increase your risk of stroke. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or have antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or unusual bruising, or if you have tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. It may increase your bleeding risk if you take medicines, such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
Do you have any superstitions on the golf course? You know, most players have some. Links Golf Magazine offers a few. Never tee off in front of someone who just made a birdie. That's sure to incur the wrath of the golf gods. What's your lucky ball marker? Maybe a quarter with your birth year? Never carry an extra ball in your pocket, and never use a ball you deem a water ball on a par 3 with a water hazard. There's a reason they're called water balls. And never use a ball found during a round. Using it the same day is bad karma. And if there's an unbroken tee on the tee box, another golfer left it behind for good reason. Speaking of tees, according to the late Tony Lima, white tees suffered from commonness and can be bad luck. Lee Trevino never used yellow. Other colors are acceptable except pink unless you're Paula Kramer. If you're in the middle of a career round, don't go near the ball washer. You might wash away the ball's magical awesomeness. And never talk to your competitor's ball in flight, yelling, hook, carry, get down, or hit a house. It'll come back to haunt you. Kind of makes you feel normal, huh? That's your Golf to Go. I'm Frank LaRosa.
Hey, kids, it's Carmichael Dave from my good friends at Fire Wings, the perfect fast casual eating establishment for the entire family. A great place to enjoy all the ball games from all around the country with 21 delicious flavors to choose from. Bone in, bone out. For more convenience, order online. Go to firewings.com. Find a location near you. Grab that order online and tell them Carmichael Dave sent you. Fire Wings. Hey, just wing it.
O'Reilly. Win the battle against rust and corrosion with PB Blaster at O'Reilly Auto Parts. PB Blaster quickly busts loose rusted, corroded, or frozen parts. PB Blaster is great for everything from bolts to frozen locks. Right now, pick up an 11-ounce bottle of PB Blaster for just $6.99, plus get 2 times O Rewards points. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts or O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Meet Joe A, Joe B, and Joe C.
What's up?
3 everyday Joes perfecting their banking with Chase. Joe A is locking his lost debit card with the Chase mobile app. Joe B is cruising toward his new ride with AutoSave. And Joe C's Chase banker is helping him budget to go back to school. Tools that help protect. Support for what's next. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase. Make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Messaging and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC. Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
I'm Chris Verlott with your Sactown Sports Headlines. Yesterday, the Stockton Kings announced that Sacramento Kings assistant coach Lindsey Harding has been named the head coach of the team. Harding takes over for Bobby Jackson, who recently took a job as assistant coach of the Philadelphia 76ers. Tomorrow's the NBA draft, and the Sacramento Kings have the 24th pick in the first round, as well as the 38th pick and 54th pick in the second round. We will have you completely covered with tomorrow's draft, including a special draft show from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. with our very own Chris Watkins and Jason Ross. Sactown Sports NBA draft coverage is brought to you by Power Business Technology. Power Business Technology for all your business office equipment needs. Contact them at 844-POWER-BZ or go to powercopiers.com. Those are your headlines. Let's get back to Chris and company with Jay Mars.
Sitting at your desk? Watch Chris and Company now. YouTube.com/Sactown Sports 1140.
Over on the YouTube chat, Jay, I'm curious what your thoughts are on this. Willie Bowen puts out that Paul George and Zion are pretty much in the same boat. They're both injury prone. Both of those guys have their name in trade rumors right now.
I mean, the injury prone part is correct.
Very correct.
I would say that the extracurriculars don't match
well,
up.
How do we know?
Not quite.
We know because we're not hearing about it.
Yeah, exactly.
That doesn't mean it's not happening. Paul George is in LA.
He is in LA.
We are definitely hearing about Zion.
Yes, that I'm aware of.
Absolutely. Way too much. I've heard way too much. Hopefully I don't see too much.
Well, certain people won't be heard from on Zion now for a while, won't they?
Goodness. Yeah, no, yeah. I saw yesterday that the Twitter account got suspended of
not of Zion.
No, not of Zion.
One of Zion's former
Mills.
friends.
Yes.
And it is very hard to get suspended from Twitter nowadays.
Very hard. Yes. In the Musk era of Twitter, you have to really earn your suspension. And she was putting in work. She was definitely putting in work. And
well, which context are we looking at?
Hey now. Come on, man. Come on. Would you rather have Zion? You'd rather have Zion than Paul George right now, right?
Yeah. More upside.
You have to, right? Yeah.
Cost actually less.
Yeah, right. Paul George at this point, we're looking at Paul George's contract. He's got
playoff P, baby.
2 years, $90 million. And
I told you before the break, he's played 4 years in LA. He's never played more than 56 games.
Oh my gosh. That is just ridiculous. And that actually brings perfectly to Jerry West, who last week had some very interesting things to say about the Paul George and Kawhi tandem. He was on Paul George's podcast, and we'll just play it. He had this to say about what Paul George is going to, about the Kawhi and Paul George tandem in LA. Here is Jerry West on Paul George and Kawhi and what shocked him most.
We've had 2 chances here with the Clippers, 2 chances. And for whatever reason, the big guy in the sky didn't want us to get there. Right. Injuries. I've never seen anything like this in my life. In my whole life, 2 players the caliber of you and Kawhi can't play half the season. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's crazy. Mm-hmm. You look at Kawhi's body. I mean, how can he ever get hurt? I feel so badly for him. It drives me crazy. He didn't have a chance, and he works his fanny off. And I say to myself, who are you going to win with? You're going to win with guys like you because you have to do the heavy lifting at the end of the game. Mm-hmm. Some people can't do that. Mm-hmm. You and Kawhi can do it. You go home and you say to yourself, my gosh, it's almost like there's a jinx somewhere. But that was tough. That's tough for me when I see that, even today.
Man.
Was there a jinx, or was there a lot of signs pointing to both of these guys are injury prone?
There's also that, right? I mean, Kawhi was load managed for his entire time pretty much in San Antonio. You can almost hear Jerry West really having like a sound of like real defeat. He's like, I've built some great teams in the past, and this one felt like such a slam dunk. And personally, like, you could not have told me when the news broke that Kawhi and Paul George were going to join the Clippers together. I was like, this is like the new, this is going to be the new super team. This is
right there.
They're going to win 2 or 3 of the next 5 championships easy. And we're going to be talking about how maybe Paul or Kawhi Leonard is like maybe in a close second in terms of the modern day GOAT conversation
because of what he does in the playoffs.
Exactly. I mean, and we have seen none of that. I mean, to your point, like Paul George and Kawhi have done nothing but miss games their entire time.
Kawhi much more than Paul. Paul gets out there a little bit.
Poor Paul George actually played through he also found injury woes last season, but he was carrying that Clipper team for a while.
Yeah.
While
he carried
Kawhi
him to
missed.
a Western Conference final, first one in team history.
Oh, absolutely, and really erased the playoff P moniker that was a joke at the time, and he's that just situation has not worked out, and we saw yesterday from Mark Stein reported in his Substack that the Clippers have left various rival teams with the impression through their draft conversations that they are at the minimum attempting to gauge Paul George's trade value and are giving real consideration to the idea of disassembling the Kawhi and Paul George tandem. Mark Stein also puts out there that the Rockets and the Portland Trailblazers, a team we were just talking about last segment, are the early favorites to land Paul George, or at least in the early conversations of landing Paul George. First off, let's start off with this. Do you think it's time to blow up the Kawhi PG thing? Has that ran its course?
I mean, come on.
I don't know how you can sell a fan base on running it back.
I want to say it was Lawrence Frank at the end of the season was talking about, like, man, we got 2 of the best players in the NBA. Of course, we're dedicated to that. I get the talent part. We've always got it. I think Kawhi is beyond repair at this point.
I think so.
He's beyond repair.
I mean, how much more can you load manage him?
You can't.
You can't.
Load manage him all year. Got hurt.
He still managed to get hurt. And I mean, he's probably going to miss next season if I had to guess. So next season's kind of already a wash.
I'm out on Kawhi, obviously. So, and I believe Kawhi probably has no trade value at this point.
No, I can't imagine.
No trade
especially
value.
with him again sitting out next season.
And Paul George isn't going to lead you to a title. So what do? You have to get off one of them. You get off the guy that has value.
Yeah.
No, I think there's a lot to this, actually. I think there's a lot to it.
Yeah.
By the way, you mentioned Houston.
Houston's interesting.
Houston's interesting because they're clearly desperate to land a star.
Yes, they want James Harden.
They want James Harden, but they want star power back there. Tillman Fertitta wants stars back there. And it's a classic example of what not to do given their roster. And they're going to do it.
Yep.
And if I'm the Clippers, I'm trying to get a haul of some of those young guys.
Absolutely.
Like I want what's the asking price on Alperen Sengun?
Right.
Is the Clippers
Jabari Smith?
Jalen Green is there.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Kevin Porter Jr.
Sure, yeah.
There's a lot of young talent there that I would be salivating at the idea of getting for Paul George. And because they're so star hungry in Houston, you have an owner so star hungry, you can probably get a good amount of it.
Yeah, I think that's probably the best return that you're going to get because you're going to get some real young guys. And, depending on how many young guys you want, you can really weigh young guys versus future draft picks of the Houston Rockets granted it was more in the Morey era, but Houston has not been afraid in the past to ship off first round picks. I mean, they almost do it for free sometimes.
And if Houston, and maybe they're looking at, hey, Paul George is the carrot that gets James Harden back the final there.
LA guys.
As a Kings fan, I'm here for it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think
that team don't scare me.
I don't think that leads to any success. And then the Blazers situation, I mean, you would presume that would be kind of like what we were talking about last segment. Like, you assume that's going to be for the number 3 pick, right? Like, I don't think that they would do that in a Dame trade.
Like, what is Simons and Nurkic make the money work,
right?
But I feel like even that's selling Paul George a little short.
But is selling that on top of if you give
with
Nurkic
the number 3? Oh, I'm in.
Is that too much though?
Well, that's the case, right?
Like that's.
Okay, so
that's really that's a lot to give up for a 32-year-old guy
Agreed.
who, like we're talking about, has a lot of injury woes.
But you're going to have to give up something that's super enticing. Simons is enticing, but not super enticing.
Yeah.
So do you keep the 3 and give up Shaedon Sharp? And so you go Scoop,
oh man,
Scoop, PG, Dame.
Oh man, see, I like a lot more. Scoop, PG, and Dame. I think. There's something
There's that
there.
future buffer there.
Yes, there's something
and I believe
there.
Scoot will be better than Shaedon Sharp.
But the question becomes, can the Blazers is that the best offer? Because again, we talk about what the Rockets can throw out there. You would have to think that the Rockets can throw something more appealing than Shaedon Sharp.
And the Rockets have the number 4.
And that is also true. And number 4 at this point is kind of the best of the rest. And there's
grabbing one of the Thompson brothers, by the way, is not a bad consolation price.
Absolutely not. I mean, especially for that Clipper team has been begging for point guards. They're in Chris Paul talks right now. They're in, they're talking about bringing back Russell Westbrook as well. If they can bring in Amen Thompson at number 4, that could be that to me. That's probably a better route for them than bringing on Chris Paul and Russell Westbrook. So, very interesting situation going on over there in LA for the Clippers. And of course, the question is, should the Kings kick the tires on Paul George?
We talked about that this morning. No,
just out. Just is it for financial reasons? Health, yes.
Health main, financial second,
yeah.
And what do you have to give up?
Sure.
For a guy that again hasn't played more than 56 games in the last 4 years.
$45 million is a lot to have to match.
I mean, you're
for a
talking
salary.
Holmes
got to be Herter. As well. That's like 30.
I think I had Davion in there probably.
I think that brings you to like 36, 38.
And to be honest, the Clippers are going to want Keegan. That to me is the key. They're not trading Keegan.
Yeah.
And I think that's what the Clippers would be after.
Yeah. And we saw that there were reports that I think from David Aldridge that Keegan Murray was the end of the Bradley Beal conversations. Once Washington brought up bringing back Keegan Murray in a Beal trade, Monty McNair seemed to have no interest in that. So it does seem like the Kings are pretty firm on not shipping off Keegan Murray. And you would imagine that in a Paul George trade, yes, Paul George is quite a talent, but
Sure.
You're not going to ship off your number 4 pick and one of your only good young pieces to bring in, again, a 32-year-old guy.
They
who
have high
plays
hopes
50,
for
60
Keegan,
games.
dude.
Yeah, they really, really do. So yeah, I mean, that kind of shuts down that move.
Mentioned Davion Mitchell.
Yeah.
Just real quick, this coming off of Twitter from Tom Dierberger.
Oh, shout out Tom.
Brandon Payne. You know who Brandon Payne is?
No clue.
Steph Curry's personal development coach.
Oh boy.
Recently worked with the Kings guard Davion Mitchell and said he's, quote, very engaged in improving his shot this offseason. Just throw that nugget.
That's
out there.
great to hear. I mean, if Davion could knock down his three at a realistic, like 35 to 37% from three,
especially
that's
on
huge.
catch and shoots, you can play him next to Fox more in that case.
Yeah, it allows him to play off ball on offense, but also he can take the guy's best defender or the best offensive weapon on defense. And to me, that's really the piece that makes Davion so hard to get extended minutes. I mean, we saw last year Davion was struggling to get over 15 minutes in a given game just because, he was really only playing when De'Aaron was off the floor.
Right.
If he can knock down some shots, I mean, there's some real opportunity there for some positional versatility amongst, him and Monk and Herter as well. So that's very interesting and definitely something we'll monitor. As we all know, during the summer is the time when everybody is improving on everything. And then you'll see, I'm sure at some point we'll get a video of Davion Mitchell hitting 25 to 30 threes in a row.
100%.
Can't wait for that. Actually, saw Davion Mitchell. One of my friends posted yesterday that he saw Davion at the airport. And guess what? Davion had a ball in his hands. So Davion's that kind of guy that just ball is truly life for him. And I've got high hopes for Davion this year because I don't know if you've seen Jay. I don't know if you follow Davion on Instagram. Dude got tatted this summer.
Yeah, no, dude got some ink.
Got a full sleeve, and I think got a leg sleeve as well.
Yeah.
And I'm a big believer in what tattoo sleeves can do for guys' games. I mean, when JJ Redick added that sleeve,
8% higher field goal percentage.
Like, this guy is he might win MVP this year. So look out for Davion. Look out for Davion and his improvement this year because, again, tattoo sleeves have power. I've seen crazier things happen. Coming up next, we're going to talk about the Sacramento Kings making a little bit of history yesterday. But was the intentions right? We'll talk about that next, right here on Kris and Company, Sactown Sports 1140 and SactownSports.com.
Get all the latest 49ers news heading into the 2023 season on Sactown Sports.
I think Brock was smart, and we kind of facilitated that he met with a bunch of different surgeons. The hope is he's ready for the regular season. We'll take it as it comes, as we're doing. He's working incredibly hard, and the early returns are really good.
Sactown Sports, Sacramento's official home for 49ers football.
All new spring deals are here at Lowe's. Start planting your garden this weekend with Bonnie 11.8-ounce vegetables. Buy 4 for $10. Plus, liven up your patios and decks with fresh blooms. Select 1.5-gallon hanging baskets or 2 for $20. Lowe's knows spring. Lowe's knows home improvement. Offers valid through 5/17. In-store only. Actual plant size and selection varies by location. While supplies last, excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
Hey, what's up? We're talking to Chad Hoblet of Hoblet Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Woodland. You know, it's Jeep season. I keep hearing about the new Jeep Wrangler 4xE. Chad, do you have any deals this month?
Right now, you can lease a new 2023 Jeep Wrangler Sahara 4xE for only $379 a month for 36 months with $49.95 due at signing. That's a savings of up to $13,500, or you can save up to $92.50 off MSRP, plus get $37.50 in federal tax credits for a total savings of over $13,000.
Whether I lease or buy the new 2023 Jeep Wrangler Sahara 4xE, I can save up to $13,000 or more.
Yeah, and now the only decision is which one you want, because we have a great selection of Wrangler 4xEs with over 50 available.
Find your perfect vehicle now when you search, select, and save at HobletDodge.com.
$13,500 in total net savings after $11,000 factory rebates and $2,500 dealer discount. Rebates include $7,500 federal tax credit, $3,000 carb rebate, and $500 California bonus cash. Must be California resident qualified. 36-month lease term, $49.95 cash due at signing, plus tax, license, and accessories on approved credit through Chrysler Capital. 25 cents per mile charge of over 10,000 miles per year. $92.50 total net savings after $57.50 factory rebates and $4,000 dealer discount. Plus optional $37.50 tax credit may apply for buyers who meet current federal tax standards only. Subject to change. See your CPA for qualifications. For California residents only. 5-week net savings. See dealer for details.
Hey y'all, my name is Tiara, and a little thing that I love about the Chick-fil-A spicy chicken biscuit is that it has the perfect amount of spice to jumpstart my day. Whoever thought of it, thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Robert, and a little thing I love about Chick-fil-A spicy chicken biscuit is the biscuit. It reminds me of my grandma's homemade biscuit. It's always buttery and savory. Then you add the spices, instant classic.
Order the spicy chicken biscuit on the Chick-fil-A app today. Real Chick-fil-A guests paid for their testimonials.
Since 1776, July 4th has been celebrated as the birth of American independence, but it's been a federal holiday only since 1941. Hi, this is Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. It was a mere 7 years later when the Keys family opened their first Naturewood store in Sacramento, and I guess Northern Californians have been celebrating ever since. We celebrate an incredible selection of furniture brands made right here in America. We celebrate the kind of generous hometown hospitality that was important to Walter Keys in 1948 and continues with the Keys family and the Naturewood Home Furnishing staff today. And we celebrate the kind of quality that's been synonymous with Naturewood for all these 74 years. Look for Made in America brands like Stanton, Sam Moore, Stickley, Hilltop Hickory, Simply Amish, and more during the Naturewood 4th of July sale event. Find the furniture that you will celebrate for years to come. Naturewood Home Furnishings, off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
Keeping you company with the company. It's Kris and Company with Chris Watkins on Sactown Sports.
Your local sports leader.
Final segment with Jay Mars right here. And then at 11 o'clock, he's passing the baton over to Frankie Cardicelli, my Return of the Roar co-host. Can't wait to chop it up with Frank. From the YouTube, I just want to address this. 12 Mulatu put this out. Houston ain't going to give up nothing for Paul George or give a lot to James Harden when they are building. And we were talking about Houston making moves or a potential move for Paul George in the last segment. It's not really a matter of if it's a good idea or not. It's what Houston is going to do. I mean, I think there was a report from Adrian Wojnarowski at the All-Star break that first said that Houston and James Harden is interested in a reunion in Houston.
And to kind of give some context behind that, it's basically coming back to Houston and being in the Rockets family with Tillman Fertitta, their owner, who, if you don't know about his business ventures outside of the Rockets, he has a ton. Yeah. And it sounds like James really wants to get into that part. Like he's starting to plan ahead.
Really? Okay. I have not heard that.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. Because other than that, I mean, do you remember James Harden's last several games in Houston? Where
he gave up. I mean, I think that was Brooklyn, right? Where his last game was here in Sacramento, where he had 2 points. Was that Brooklyn or was that how he ended it in Houston?
I can't remember, but
they were both very unceremonious endings.
Very.
Yeah. And I mean, that's very typical of James Harden, who, in this will also raise questions of whether James Harden cares about basketball, which, Philadelphia is clearly the better basketball fit, as they were one win away from the conference finals, instead of Houston, who was probably one loss away from being the number one pick.
Right, exactly.
Like, it's complete opposite ends of the spectrum, and it's going to say a lot about what James Harden cares about, depending on what he's going to do this offseason. But again, it's not a matter of whether it's right or wrong; it's just what's happening. So Houston is keen on bringing in a star. And, it doesn't really matter if it's a good idea or not, because they're going to do it.
Yep.
I want to talk about this. I think probably the biggest story in Kingsland yesterday. A lot of people have opinions on it. Yesterday, it was announced that Lindsey Harding, who was a assistant coach for the Sacramento Kings last year, was named the head coach of the Stockton Kings, replacing Bobby Jackson, who went on to go fill Nick Nurse's coaching bench over there in Philadelphia. Harding is now the second woman to ever coach a men's pro team in the U.S., behind Nancy Lieberman, who coached the Texas Legends, also of the G League. We also know Nancy was an assistant here under the George Karl era. So so some ties there. And that's great. That is fantastic for Lindsey. Lindsey has been with the team. She was, I believe, hired on in Luke Walton's first year as a head coach.
This was her fourth year. So
so she's been around the block. She's a fantastic coach. I mean, she I believe
was a great player too, by the way.
Incredible player. That should honestly be the first thing that's brought up. Lindsey is one of the greats. But it has been working with Terrence Davis last year. Terrence Davis spoke very, very highly of working with Lindsey, and everybody in the organization really seems to love Lindsey. So really, I mean, you got anything to add to that? That's not really even the story. Yeah, great.
I think it's a great hire. It's a well-deserved hire there.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And that's not the story. The actual story that has people really talking, and also I don't want to take away from Lindsey for this, because this is absolutely a huge building block and I know Lindsey has aspirations to be an NBA head coach, so this is just a step along the journey of that, and Lindsey is very, very deserving. But the real talking point from this is something that was slid in to that press release announcing Lindsey Harding, and that is that Anjali Ranadive, daughter of Vivek Ranadive, the Kings majority governor, was also named the Stockton Kings GM. This is the third female GM in G League history, and that has brought up a nepotism conversation, honestly. Like,
well, I mean, it is what it is.
It
right?
is
I
what
mean,
it is.
I don't think they would hide from that. I don't think that is a controversial statement.
No, I mean, absolutely not. Like this, and we had a similar conversation last year when Anjali was named the assistant GM. I think people were definitely upset by that news, but I think there was a little bit of people telling themselves like, oh, she's not going to be, whatever,
Right.
assistant, she's not the GM of the main club, not even of the G League club, the assistant GM, who knows what that even entails. Now she has been named the official GM of the Stockton Kings.
Big shoes to fill there, by the way, too.
Huge shoes to fill as, was it Paul Johnson, right?
I believe that's his
Paul
name.
Johnson was named the G League Executive of the Year. And he is now in the Sacramento Kings front office doing a lot more work up there. And so
Undisclosed front office role, which
undisclosed,
interesting.
Which, who knows what that means? Probably an advisor role to Monty and Wes now, or just probably more in the decision-making process. Do you have an issue with Anjali being placed in this role?
I mean, when you look at it, I always have an issue with just nepotism in general.
Sure.
Whether
I mean,
it's with the Lakeup family,
Mhm.
we're seeing it in Golden State. I mean,
Yep.
in Dallas, you have that. But also, when you
The
look at
buses
that
as well.
yeah, no, I mean, it's everywhere.
Yeah.
It's everywhere. The thing I guess my big question is with that is, what are you grooming her to do?
Mhm.
To eventually take over as the GM of the Kings? Because I think people would flip on that.
Yeah.
But are you taking, I'm glad you said the bus role. Are you taking her and grooming her to eventually take over for you as running the franchise as the governor?
See,
and want her to get player personnel experience
Yes.
there. So on the surface, yeah, it's a little sus.
Yeah. That's my thing. Is just the optics of it. Not great. I mean, it's just not great. This is the first year the Kings have had real success, and then to make this move it gives the appearance of like, I don't know. It's just my thing. My issue, if there is any issue with this, is more just, and it's the problem with nepotism in general. There are people who are really grinding, like hours of watching film and doing scouting and aren't seeing their families and all that stuff. Basketball lifers who would kill to have that position, and for it to be given to Anjali, who, she has been very prominent also. Like, just because she hasn't always had a role and a defined role with the team doesn't mean she hasn't had influence or has worked with the team. She's been involved.
Sure.
But this much, I think, is just,
well, the
at that
spotlight's on
position,
now, right?
Yeah, right. My problem is more just you can really use that spot as an actual developmental spot for a future front office executive member, and to give it to the owner's daughter essentially is just, I mean, that's nepotism, but that's where I have the issue.
But what I mean with the spotlight on is now you actually have to perform.
Absolutely.
And
yeah.
it's going to be, people are going to follow that now.
Yeah.
Like you said, it was kind of, in the shadows a little bit last year. That's going to be right front and center now.
Absolutely. My question is, what does a G League GM actually do?
Same thing I asked Dave today. Neither of us could really come up with it because
that's why I'm not
see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Absolutely.
Well,
I just
because
don't
a
know.
lot
Yeah.
of it is really, I mean, you're kind of grooming picks that are made by the big team.
Yes.
Like Nemi
Yes,
Keita,
exactly.
Keon Ellis, those are all Monty McNair's picks.
Right.
You know
Is
what I'm
she
saying?
filling out the G League roster? Like,
Well,
you're
and
going to
I'd
have your
imagine-
two-way people.
By the way, I'd imagine Lindsay's going to have a lot of say on that roster.
Right. Absolutely. And, I'm sure there's
So-
going to be some assistant GM or someone who's going to advise her as well.
And exactly that. You put that, plus you let the head coach make it might actually work out,
Mhm. Yeah.
and get her, again, just maybe they just want to get her player development or player personnel experience there while putting the proper pieces around her to do it.
Yeah, to me, you pointed at the exact thing that I'm hoping this is, and that's, look, one day, facts are facts. I'm talking as Vivek right now. My daughter's going to run this
Right,
franchise.
and
Like,
that's-
I'm going to hand it to her at some
It's
point.
the Jerry Genie Bus correlation.
Wouldn't
And
you
Genie
ra-
Bus did all of that stuff.
Absolutely. And I think Vivek's logic is just, wouldn't you rather have her have a basic understanding
Exactly.
of how all of these things go instead of doing what Vivek has done and just walking into it and just owning it and not having a good understanding of the process?
And by the way, if that is truly the thought process, then I'm like, okay.
It's fine. But
It's
also,
fine.
like, I guess you don't owe everybody an explanation, but like,
No.
you could probably say that somewhere. Like,
Sure.
I think that's more the issue, just for PR and tempering everybody's anger.
I know Frankie's coming in,
Yes,
and I
he is.
unfortunately have to leave. Can I leave you guys a nugget maybe to discuss next
you
segment?
can stick along with
You can, if you want to
Frankie.
finish the show, you can do that with me if you want, Jay. If you want to stay for 8 hours
I gotta
today,
take a lunch break.
Oh, okay, for sure. Me too.
Chris Haynes on his podcast. We all know the Kings have been, linked to OG Anunoby.
Yeah.
Quote. Well, the Blazers have been rumored with Pascal OG over there in Toronto as well, Haynes said. Also, quote, Sacramento's on the chase for those two guys in Toronto as well.
Oh, my goodness.
So throw Pascal Siakam's name in the ring and have some fun with
Appreciate you throwing that lob. Jay Mars, best in the business. Appreciate you. Get some sleep. You will be filling in for me tomorrow, correct? With Whitey. Yes, I believe. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. We thought today was going to go a certain way, and it's not. So who knows how tomorrow will go. But thank you so much for joining me,
Happy
Jay.
to be here, man.
I'll talk to you later. And we have another hour or another 3 hours of Kris and Company right here for you. As Jay mentioned, Frankie Cardicelli joining us next right here on Sactown Sports 1140 and SactownSports.com.
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross. Every week, getting to talk to Kenneth Cornelius Thomas.
Oh my God, he busts out the whole name.
Hey, come on.
Special show. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I'm looking forward to coming back next year. Hopefully, we can keep this going.
Yeah.
I enjoyed being on here with the nothing, dude. Cut that out. Don't make me reach through this phone, man.
You're in New Mexico. I can talk garbage.
Hey, I know where you live. I'll find out.
The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross. Weekday mornings from 6 to 10 on Sactown Sports.
For nearly 20 years since Bartley Kavanaugh Golf Course opened near the banks of the Sacramento River, it's been Sacramento's #1 course for fun. Perry Dye of the famous Dye family of golf course architects designed the course to be an easy walk, but motorized carts are available as well. You and your friends of all abilities will find Bartley Kavanaugh featuring a brand new tap room is a great place to play golf. After your round, relax on the outdoor veranda overlooking the course with a cold beverage or a tasty meal. For tee times, visit BartleyCavanagh.com. It's Sacramento's #1 course for fun. At Elk Grove Honda, we see every Honda buyer as a member of the family, so we make sure every certified pre-owned Honda is one we would buy from ourselves. At Elk Grove Honda, we include many benefits that a private seller just can't match. Our Honda-trained technicians only certify our Hondas if they pass a thorough 182-point inspection, and our certified pre-owned Hondas are under 5 years old. So you know you're getting the newest Hondas in prime condition. See our exceptional selection of certified pre-owned Hondas in the Elk Grove Auto Mall or online at elkgrovehonda.com.
I gotta get an Elk Grove Honda.
Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned, and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
Hey, you want to be around people having a great time? You need to come check out Capital Casino, offering the most varieties of table games in the region in the friendliest environment. Come for the food, which is awesome, of course, and stay and play. Conveniently located in downtown Sacramento at 411 North 16th Street, right there in downtown Sacramento for over 20 years. Cap Casino, best food, best games, and of course, the best action. And please gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. The IRS just rolled out a new program to help struggling taxpayers more easily resolve their tax problems. It's called the Taxpayer Relief Initiative, and it opens up powerful new options for people looking to get back on the right track with the IRS. And no one knows this program like the professionals at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution company. They've resolved over $1 billion in tax debt for their clients and have the expertise and experience to help you. One easy call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries of wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Make today the beginning of your fresh start with the IRS. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief now for your free confidential consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Guys, did you know that June is Men's Health Month? And right now, Revive Men's Health Sacramento will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T level is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your hormones are serious business, and most men start to see changes in their hormone levels starting in their 30s. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Get your T levels checked today by a local, experienced, and trusted healthcare professional. Revive Men's Health has successfully helped thousands of men since 2011. Experience and results matter. So, what are you waiting for? Call Revive today to schedule your free testosterone test and free exam. We know we can help you. We guarantee it. Celebrate Men's Health Month. Get your free T-level test and save $199. Call Revive Men's Health at 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Listen to Oakland A's baseball on the weekends all season long right here on Sactown Sports, beginning with the pregame show brought to you by Xfinity 10G, the next generation network.
KHTKAM HD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
This is Sactown Sports.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
I'm Kris Murray with your Sactown Sports headlines. Yesterday, the Stockton Kings announced that Sacramento Kings assistant coach Lindsey Harding has been named the head coach of the team. Harding takes over for Bobby Jackson, who recently took a job as an assistant coach of the Philadelphia 76ers. Tomorrow is the NBA draft, where the Sacramento Kings have the 24th pick in the first round, as well as the 38th pick and the 54th pick in the second round. We will have you completely covered with tomorrow's draft, including a special draft show from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. with our very own Chris Watkins and Jason Ross. Sactown Sports NBA draft coverage is brought to you by Power Business Technology. Power Business Technology for all your business office equipment needs. Contact them at 844-POWER-BZ or go to powercopiers.com. Those are your headlines. Let's get back to Chris and company with our Kings insider, that Kings Cowboy, Frankie Carnicelli.
Keeping you company with the company. It's Chris and Company with Chris Watkins on Sactown Sports.
Your local sports leader.
We were so close. We were so close to a Chris Verlade introing Frankie Carnicelli and not getting the Kings Cowboy drop.
You think I'd forget?
I thought you did. I thought it'd been too long.
Almost got away with it.
It
must have been. It's too long. I guess it's due. But I was very excited for once. I almost was a normal person.
I was like, wow, this is actually just a Kings insider, just a normal random Kings insider here. Frankie Carter's not random. Sorry, I didn't mean to call you.
No, it's
random,
cool. It's random.
Yeah, it's fine. The chat, YouTube chat over there at youtube.com/Sactown Sports 1140 brings up a great point, and I appreciate you guys thinking about me. Johnny G says, will Chris ever find his forever co? And Manny Too Legit says, I don't think he'll ever find his co. First time even seeing him switch a different person here in the same day. Yeah, today has been an interesting day.
But all hands on deck.
Yeah, all hands on deck day before the draft. But if, I know I am searching for my forever co, but if there is anything that I would consider a forever co, it's probably you, Frankie, my guy, Frankie Carnicelli, who we've been doing the Return of the Roar podcast now. We just uploaded an episode, and I think this is our 5th year of doing this podcast.
Has it been 5 or 4?
This is going into our 5th season of doing the podcast.
Is it? How long?
Yeah.
How long have I worked here?
Too long. How long have I worked here?
How long have you worked here?
Way too long.
No, man. It's we'll talk again on Friday.
Yeah,
the draft. But I can't believe it's been 5 seasons, 5 years.
My forever co, Frankie Carnicelli. So Jay dropped a little nugget right before he left there. This is according to Chris Haynes, is saying that the Sacramento Kings are allegedly, quote, on the chase for both Pascal Siakam and for OG and Anunoby. Both of the Rockets stars who are on the block seem to be available, and the Kings have interest in both of them. Just initial thoughts, Frank, like what do you think about the Kings potentially going in on both of them and what that would mean in terms of what they would have to give up to get those guys?
So real quick, I mean, with the Siakam rumor, which other player has it been like the darling of Kings rumors? I think it's been 2+ years now we've heard the Siakam
OG,
Kings.
John Collins, of course.
John Collins and
John
Siakam.
Collins is definitely giving him a run for his money.
They're at the top of the list. And look, Siakam is a guy on paper the Kings absolutely could use.
Sure, yeah.
I mean,
he's a legit 4.
Yeah, he plays defense. He's long, 24 points, 7.8 rebounds, 5.8 assists.
Love that.
He's 29 years old. I mean, he kind of fits that that pocket of age group there. I think Sabonis is the oldest of 27 years old. He's the
now that HB's gone,
he's the
I
grandpa.
think Sabonis is the oldest on the team.
He's the grandpa of the group. Unless Sasha comes over, he'll be 28 in August.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I'm looking at Siakam's contract here and what it would take to kind of get that done. He only has one. That's a scary thing. 1 year
with
remaining.
both of them. Yeah. OG has a player option as well.
They both have 1 year remaining. I think I saw some reports out there that OG, I think they would communicate with the Raptors if they were to move him about possible extensions or the possibility of being there further beyond that last year. But Siakam's a guy, he'll be 30 going the next offseason. He makes $37 million this year. It's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
It'd make more sense for him to hit the open market next summer.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that helps the Kings and the price goes down. But again, this is a deal. If you're looking at both, and again, Haynes is saying both those players.
Both of them.
I think Keegan Murray would probably have to be included in those talks.
I think so, right? And that's that was a non-starter with the Bradley Beal talks, and again, I think Bradley Beal might have been a very specific situation where there's just not value there in terms of losing Keegan to bring back Beal on that deal. But I mean, if you're planning, and I guess I haven't exactly heard the audio specifically, so I don't know. It seems as if Chris Haynes is putting out there that they are trying to get them both in one acquisition, not either or. But let's talk about the OG fit as well. I mean, OG's been a guy who has also been talked about for the apple of the King's eye for some time now. How do you think OG fits into this roster? Obviously a really good defender, but what other things do you like that he brings to this team?
I mean, obviously the 3-and-D aspect, the Kings, I think we all can agree the Kings need a 3-and-D guy.
Yes.
I mean, preferably Keegan Murray can grow into that kind of guy he was in college, develop as a defender, and I think he still can.
Mm-hmm.
I think he can be a 3-and-D guy as his career moves on, but I'm talking about an impact defender, one that has all NBA potential. And again, OG Anunoby is someone who was named to the all defensive, I believe, second team.
Yes.
Last season. The age, 25, he fits. I mean, from a perspective of having this core be on the same time frame, and again, as far as even all of them, Mike Brown also on a similar contract with De'Aaron Fox, you want to have that cohesiveness and that just kind of collectiveness of having that group go through this together as a unit. OG can be that guy. But again, the contract, you need to add on to that. He has a player option, I believe.
I think it'll be for like 17 or 18 million, which he'd probably decline.
It is for 19. Again,
19,
a Kevin Huerter-esque contract. He's making 18 million next season. Then it's a player option for 19. I think it'd be wise of him to turn that down and go on the market as well. So these are guys that the Kings would probably have to give up more than they'd be comfortable with as far as how much time is left on their deal.
Right.
And the Kevin Huerter deal was completely different. Kevin Huerter was someone who had value, he had a whole contract to go 4 years ago, but Toronto had other guys that they paid. They just brought in DeJounte Murray. They have John Collins, who they were high on at the time. They had to get rid of some money, and Kevin Huerter was kind of like, the choice, the odd man out. So this is a little different. Toronto, they don't really need to move OG Anunoby. I mean, if they're
definitely not. No.
If they're in a rebuild, I think that's someone you feel comfortable having be not the guy. I don't know if he ever could be a number one option.
No, I don't think so.
Or something like that. No. But it's a guy who would fit on the Kings. And of course, I think the Grizzlies are a team that really wanted him as well.
Yeah, Warriors as well were a team that were supposedly really high on him. I think the problem is with OG and the OG trades at the deadline was just the asking price. From everything I understand, Masai Ujiri is just not going to accept anything lower than what he views as market value for those guys. And, at the deadline, it seemed like I was hearing 3 first-round picks for OG. So I just can't see that happening. I'm curious what you have to think about. You're mentioning their contracts. If they were to bring over, we'll just say one of them, of OG or Pascal, does it concern you that then going into this next offseason, you would have to have negotiations with Sabonis, OG or Pascal, and Malik Monk as well? Like, you're, in my eyes, you're probably going to have to pick between 2 of those 3 if that were to be the case. Yeah, it's
a lot of money to throw around, especially when you look at the tiers of the luxury tax.
My gosh, the aprons are ridiculous, and the penalties for it are just absurd.
Like, I think Malik is someone who probably could keep on a team friendly deal. I think it's what he's making right now. Maybe you can keep him for that 10 million range. Maybe. I mean,
it depends how next year goes. Yeah,
unless he plays his way into a larger contract, very possible. I mean, I think he was worth more than his contract was last season. Yeah, I mean, my opinion. But
what was it, 9.5? Right, he's making 9.5.
I think it's 9.5 million. Yeah. But if you're looking at having to pay, I mean, in this situation, are they getting only one of OG and Pascal, or
yes,
both?
In this situation, because I mean, if you're bringing in both, then all four of those guys, Pascal, OG, Sabonis, and Monk, are all. That's almost impossible. That's why I have a tough time seeing them move.
Yeah,
for both of them.
Assume Sabonis is going to get the Supermax. Right. I think that's a pretty.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assumption.
I would imagine Sabonis will not come to the table this summer and sign an extension, a team-friendly extension.
Yeah.
I think this will probably be his only big payday. He's going to be 28 next summer.
I'm not 100% certain, but his Supermax isn't like a Jaylen Brown Supermax, right? Like Jaylen Brown's going to be paid like 50, 60 mil.
He missed it by 1 year. If he was an All-NBA player next year, and again, now that there's no positions in the All-NBA team and all these other
that's gonna be tough
things for criteria, I would say, and it's not a knock on Sabonis' ability, that's probably his one All-NBA nod he's going to get.
Yeah, for sure. I think, I mean, he was the third team center, and that was only because center, as you're pointing out, was a mandatory position, with positionless basketball being the new All-NBA rosters.
Has it forever, though. He's an All-NBA center.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So, but not on the contract.
Yeah, not on the contract. So I think he's going to be able to make somewhere near 35, right, to start or something like that, because his contract right now is pretty low in terms of market value. I think he's in the low to mid 20s right now.
I think he's making like 20 on the dot, or maybe high teens.
Man. And I think the max super max extension is only 125% of what you currently make.
Yeah, and Sabonis is at 19 million right now. So he's being grossly
underpaid. He's not getting the again, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum $50+ million extension. So in that sense, that's good, because the Kings aren't going to be necessarily hampered as much as other teams will be with their two stars, and maybe they can build around it. But it's interesting to try and think about what the Kings will have to do if they do bring in those guys and have to make those decisions going into next offseason. Let's talk about a guy coming up in the next segment. Paul George is apparently open for trade should the Kings pursue a PG-13 trade. We talk about that next, right here on Kris and Company, Sactown Sports 1140, SactownSports.com.
Need your Niners fix? Sactown Sports has you covered.
I'm not going to lie to you guys. I think Trey looks significantly better than he did last year. I really do. I think his confidence is there. I think that he's throwing really good passes. I mean, just watching him, he just looks so much more comfortable and confident in the pocket, and I really appreciate that from him, from all the work that he's put into it. He just looks like he's having fun, because when he's out there having a good time, it definitely brings up everyone around him.
Get all your 49ers coverage leading into the 2023 season at Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
Bonneville International Radio Station contests are open to participants at least 18 years of age and older that are residents of California and who reside in one of the 6 counties that make up the Sacramento metro area, unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contest are not eligible to win. Unless the station otherwise specifies in its own discretion, persons who have won in the last 30 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. For a copy of the general contest rules, visit KHTK.com.
Greetings from M&S Auto on El Camino, just off the Cap City Freeway. And a big thanks to our repeat customers for letting us be your favorite car dealer. Repeat customers make us proud. M&S customers know that they're going to find the car, 4x4, or SUV they want. They'll get treated like family and save thousands. Whether you're a repeat customer or a first-time buyer, welcome. M&S Auto, the intelligent car buying experience. MSAutogroup.com.
Live and local, it's Kris and Company with Chris Watkins on Sactown Sports.
A true Kris and Company today. Jay Mars joined me for the first hour. Frankie Cardicelli hopping on here until noon.
It's the first time that's happened where you've had multiple people from the company come on the program, which kind of fits the actual name of your show.
Yes.
For the first time.
Yes. This is the first time that anything like this has happened.
There's a big difference between winging it and seeing what happens.
Yes.
Now let's see what happens.
Yes. That's the motto for today. We're just going to wing it. We're going to see what happens. I mean, we're just patchworking this show together, but it should be good. I mean, I'm excited. We got, you said it earlier this morning when I asked you to come on. You're like, well, at least there's the draft tomorrow. So, it could be worse. We could just be in the middle of summer.
It could be August 3rd or something.
That day will come.
That day will come.
That day will come.
And we'll be looking at like
staring at it in the face.
What we used to do on our podcast. We'll pull up like a random draft and or our favorite game. How much money did X player make?
Yeah, I'm gonna write these down for segment.
Those
ideas,
will be some fun.
April
Yeah,
3rd, August 3rd.
You know, that was a game that me and Jay Johnson used to play a lot as well.
How much did he make?
How much did how much did an NBA player make?
Career wise or just like in a single
career
year?
wise?
Yeah.
Well, but then we had a show with our friend Doug Christie, and he told us those
That's
are
wrong.
all lies.
Yeah, that's wrong. There's no
Really?
way. Yeah.
He said that if he told us that the money that they said he made, he goes, that's if I made an all-star team, was the MVP, we won the NBA championship, and I was an MVP in all
Are these like
throughout the whole time.
Are these like Forbes like celebrity net worth readings or from like Basketball Reference?
Basketball Reference.
Yeah. So it's more just like, I mean, Paul George is slated to make $45 million. A lot, probably 15 of those $1 million are
California
like
tax
off of, more just like those are incentive based. Like he's
yeah.
got to make All-Star, he's got to make All NBA, like he's saying. But nonetheless, we still care. While we're playing this game, how much did Paul George make in his career so far? Guesses.
I'm gonna guess like over 200. Like
Okay.
220.
Okay. Chris? Paul George. He
I'm
has
gonna
been
say-
in the NBA since
Like 2011, right?
2010, 2011.
Damn.
I'm going to say
12 years of
205.
Paul George in his career so far has made $219 million. Frankie Cardicelli gets the cash, the car, and the prize.
I get the money.
Congratulations. You get $219 million made for one Paul George, number 13. And Paul George, we were talking about it with Jay earlier. There are now rumors, according to Mark Stein in his Substack, the league sources tell the Stein line that LA Clippers have left various rival teams with the impression through their draft week conversations that they are at the minimum attempting to gauge Paul George's trade value and to hear some describe it as giving real consideration to the idea of disassembling Kawhi Leonard and the Paul George tandem. I asked Jay Mars this, Frankie, I'll ask you this. Do you feel like it is time to blow things up in LA for the Clippers?
I do. King stuff aside, I think I do.
King stuff aside.
I think it is time for them to make a move. I think that the Clippers have been one of those teams that have been spinning their wheels really since like the Chris Paul, Blake Griffin days. And that was kind of, in my opinion, their best shot. And they had a really good team last year and even the year before that. But
injuries.
You have two guys that you've kind of put, you've hitched, your wagon to.
Yes.
And it's two guys that get hurt almost more than anybody else. And
the wheels come off that wagon pretty frequently.
Kawhi Leonard, I mean, he doesn't have any wheels left.
He does
so
not.
It's sad because like the potential of some of these guys, and Paul George has not played over 56 games since the 2018-19 season. And again,
man,
it's sad because he was a guy that did play a lot.
Yeah.
He had that horrific leg injury.
Bro, oh my gosh, traumatic.
Do
you remember where you were when that happened?
Yes, I was in Lake Tahoe with my family, and I had it on, like they were eating dinner at the side.
Yeah.
And I was like this, being the basketball weirdo that I am, I was watching that scrimmage on the side, and I'm like, oh my God, I screamed because it was just, it's bad. Don't look it up.
Do you remember the Kevin Ware injury as well, the Louisville?
Yes.
Where were you for that?
I was at my grandparents for Easter.
Isn't it crazy how like you do like those moments? I mean, I guess that's what it's kind of the definition of trauma, but like, isn't it crazy how you remember like exactly where you were in those moments of like, just I remember for the Paul George moment, I was a pizza delivery driver for Pizza Hut. Shout out Pizza Hut.
Oh,
and I literally
2/3 of this group here has been pizza drivers.
Really?
Really?
It's a great job. It's a great first job. It's actually not.
Isn't
but
it? I don't know.
It's not hard. It's just not fun.
I mean,
it's better than working in the store for sure, because at least you get the luxury of like, I'm going to go for like 30, 45
You didn't have to make anything?
No,
What?
we had cooks, we had front of line, and then the delivery drivers were just like had prep jobs and then had to clean.
You'll have to tell us, like both of you, maybe think of before I leave a story from like a run-in maybe from when you were delivering pizza. Because I'm sure there are.
Oh, there's.
some.
I mean, you just run into. You
So
have to go
I
to
was
the random
doing
neighborhoods.
mornings. So I'm
Like
guessing-
mornings here at KHK.
No. I was
morning
I did
drivers.
breakfast pizzas. So I don't have a lot of like crazy
like
run-ins.
angry. Yeah.
Breakfast pizza is already enough of like a disturbing.
That's
people
true.
ordering pizza
If you're
at, like,
ordering
10
breakfast
a.m.
pizza, that tells me you're pretty trashed.
I mean, the people do like like the whole cold pizza in the morning.
Oh, I can't do
No,
that.
so this is breakfast pizza where it's made with like
chorizo
eggs.
and
Yeah.
like
Where,
eggs.
where did you work?
I don't want to give the name of it.
Okay, is it a local place?
What's that?
Is it
like
local?
a local place?
Local chain?
Yeah.
Okay, we won't
Gotcha.
we won't do that.
Because Kris is going to absolutely destroy them
I'm gonna ruin their whole-
later in the show. Anyways, yeah, Paul George. It is sad that he hasn't been able to really, patchwork a 70+ game season in a couple years here, and that injury was very traumatic, and I don't know if necessarily his injuries right now are related to that, but it's also kind of one of those things where it's like you never know. You never know.
He had a shoulder problem last year. I mean, it's just like the fragility of it, and like the Kings, they are coming off a season where they had probably. I mean, when you think about when you watch sports, I mean, you like the Vikings, I like the Yankees,
enjoy
and
them.
all these injuries just plague teams.
Yes.
And this is the first year I think I've ever watched the Kings or a team that I've supported or whatever or cover or whatever, and been stunned by how just available everyone was all year long. I think all the King stars played over 75 games.
Yes,
I
they did.
believe.
Yep.
That's crazy. That's
Insane. It doesn't
probably
happen.
won't happen again.
No, I wouldn't bank on it.
Maybe not with this group. I don't think we'll ever see that again. And that's just that's the way sports work.
Right.
And Paul George has been a casualty of that. Someone who still has a Hall of Fame career. Someone who is a great defensive player. Was a great defensive player. I mean, obviously he's 32, going to be 33.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Next season. I don't know if we are transitioning to the Kings.
Yes, please.
I don't know if that is a move I feel comfortable with. Maybe 2-3 years ago, you might want to just give up the farm. Give up the farm for it. But entering age 33, I think he's on the books for
45 mil.
45 with
then
a 40
player option next year.
He'll be wise to pick that up.
Yes. So you really got 2 years, 90 mil left on that Paul George deal.
That's just I just don't think I want to sign up for that. Yeah. I think the Kings could find more bang for their buck. And use that money elsewhere. Yeah. But
humor me for a second. What would it take? Because I mean, $45 million again. That's a whole lot of. That's a big chunk of change. You'd have to imagine Rashawn and Herter are in there. I think that makes it somewhere near 30 mil.
They're gonna want.
Got to come up with another 15. Keegan, that probably puts you at like 38 mil. So even then, you got to come up with a couple more salary. And then at what point is it like
you don't
want a lot to give up?
Malik, like you don't.
Malik,
you're gonna trade both your guards, and like Malik's like part of the heart and soul of this team. Like all these deals, like in credit Monty McNair for his roster construction, I think these contracts, they're all affordable and they're decent deals. I think they are easy to move, but trading any of these guys can ruin what you've built chemistry wise. I mean, outside of Rashawn Holmes, who I think wants to be in a better situation for himself and deserves that right. I think he's someone
absolutely
talent wise. I hate to see him sit on the bench in Sacramento and not play, but I think it makes it harder in deals like this.
Yeah.
And even with the Siakam deal, because now you don't have Harrison Barnes on the books, who the Kings have been flirting with the idea of trading him for a while.
Yeah.
Sign-in trades could always be a possibility, but I just don't see that happening.
Yeah.
So I think every deal, when you look at what they have, all these deals for these star talents is going to come back to, I think the first name that's going to come off of all of these GM's tongues is Keegan Murray. We would like Keegan Murray for our star player. And you know what? I know
Tyrese Halliburton thing, man.
Yeah, and I think our ceilings, I think the ceiling of Keegan is less than Tyrese Halliburton.
Yes, I would say.
But I think when you see the type of player that he is in today's NBA, who's a guy who can get red hot from three and just be like he can run into a 25, 30-point game from 3-point range alone.
Did it in the playoffs.
Yeah, he did it in the playoffs, and he's someone who is young for NBA standards. I know he was an old rookie, but he's 23 next season.
Yeah.
I think you might want to hang on to that and the affordability of it too, how he'll be on that rookie deal for 6-7 years. So I just don't see someone like Paul George as a realistic option, but maybe the value is low because of his contract and his injury history, and they can find a way to make it work without it, but I wouldn't bank on it.
Yeah, and I do want to clarify, there has been no links of the Kings having any interest in coming in getting Paul George. We heard almost instantly that there was interest in Bradley Beal, so the fact that we haven't heard anything with Paul George tells me that the Kings probably aren't kicking the tires on it, which I think we both agree is probably
Bradley Beal, the trade for nothing. I mean, they asked for Keegan Murray, and the Kings say no, and then they just trade Bradley Beal for
I mean, from what I understand, it was kind of Bradley Beal's decision, and like it didn't matter if there were better deals out there. He just decided at the end of the day, I'm only going to go to Phoenix.
Not to say Chris Paul's not nothing, but he probably will not open the season.
I mean, they're going to move him. Yeah. So it's pretty much they're getting Landry Shamet and they get cap relief from moving off of Beal's deal, a deal that they signed knowing everybody knew at that time that was a bad deal. So
he would never finish that contract.
No, there is a 0% chance. So the NBA draft is tomorrow. We're going to get Frankie's thoughts on what the Kings should do at 24. We are going to talk about that next right here on Kris and Company, Sactown Sports 1140, SactownSports.com.
The draft is everything. I love it.
Pick the first pick in the NBA draft. Sactown Sports has you covered for the 2023 NBA draft. On Thursday, June 22nd. Who will the Kings select with the 24th pick?
The Sacramento Kings select.
Will they trade the pick? Jason Ross and Chris Watkins will bring you a special Sactown Sports NBA draft show from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. the night of the draft.
Sactown Sports coverage of the 2023 NBA Draft is brought to you by Power Business Technology.
For all your business office equipment needs, contact them at 844-POWER-BZ or go to powercopiers.com.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Valley Strong Credit Union.
I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. Your Wednesday is here. It's also officially the first day of summer. Today comes in a little warmer than yesterday, but still below the average. Expect highs in the mid-80s with lows in the 50s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
At Valley Strong Credit Union, we know that local businesses are the backbone of the Central Valley. Valley businesses deserve Valley support for payroll, credit, capital, and everything in between. Learn about all the benefits of being a business banking member at valleystrong.com.
Dawn or dusk, I'm on the hunt. Skeeter here, Sacramento Yellow Mosquito and Vector Control District, and I'm wearing Skeeter Vision, night vision goggles that light up skeeters at dawn or dusk like the 4th of July. Mosquito, 12 o'clock. Got him. So fight the bite by wearing long sleeves and pants at dawn or dusk when they're most active. Apply insect repellent and drain stagnant water. It's a breeding ground.
Dawn or dusk, the Sacramento Yellow Mosquito and Vector Control District reminds you to fight the bite. For more information or to report problems, go to fightthebite.net.
Summer's here and the deals are heating up at Fasteners Tool Outlet. You'll find scorching deals this Saturday on Makita Tools. Get 2 free batteries with the purchase of a circular saw kit and get $50 off any 40-volt tool kit. Fasteners Tool Outlet is turning up the heat on Makita's summer savings this Saturday. Buy a 2-piece combo kit and get 2 extra free batteries. Come in to Fasteners Tool Outlet this week, 6701 Power Inn Road, or on the web at fastenersinc.net.
When the world's best players get fitted for new golf clubs, they want to see their ball flight outdoors. And why should you settle for any less? The Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio is the area's unquestioned leader in delivering a new age of golf club fitting to Northern California. With 14 trained, skilled professionals to show you how to hit the ball farther and straighter, satisfied customers have increased their yardage, improved their games, and gained confidence. Call 916-808-2531 to get started. That's 808-2531 for longer, straighter drives.
With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, banking with Capital One is the easiest decision in the history of decisions. Even easier than choosing Slash to be in your band.
Next up for lead guitar. You're in.
Cool. Yep, even easier than that. With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, is it even a decision? That's banking reimagined. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One NA, member FDIC.
Get to Acura of Stockton, where precision-crafted performance is at your fingertips. Elevate your driving experience with a vehicle that's built to impress. Acura of Stockton has a great selection of new Acuras and customer service that will exceed your expectations. And right now, lease a new Acura TLX, MDX, or Integra with low lease rates available. Take luxury to a whole new level in a new Acura from Acura of Stockton. See all our inventory and specials at AcuraofStockton.com.
The Gold Rush Classic takes place July 13th and 14th in Rancho Murrieta. Come join the fun and play golf with a celebrity, or just check out the concert. The Gold Rush Classic, where the stars and guitars shine. For more info, go to goldrushclassic.org.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
I'm Kris Murray with your Sactown Sports Headlines. Yesterday, the Stockton Kings announced that Sacramento Kings assistant coach Lindsey Harding has been named the head coach of the team. Harding takes over for Bobby Jackson, who recently took a job as an assistant coach at the Philadelphia 76ers. Tomorrow is the NBA draft, so the Sacramento Kings have the 24th pick in the first round, as well as the 38th pick and the 54th pick in the second round. We will have you completely covered with tomorrow's draft, including a special draft show from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. with our very own Chris Watkins and Jason Ross. Sactown Sports NBA draft coverage is brought to you by Power Business Technology. Power Business Technology for all your business office equipment needs. Contact them at 844-POWER-BZ or go to powercopiers.com. Those are your headlines. Let's get back to Kris and company with the Kings Cowboy, Frankie Cardicelli.
Sitting at your desk, watch Kris and Company now. YouTube.com/Sactown Sports 1140.
Before we get into Kings draft talk, Frank, you just let me know that Shams Charania just put out that the Boston Celtics are in talks with the Washington Wizards to try and make a move for one Kristaps Porzingis. They're going to have, but potentially have Kristaps opt into his, I think, $27 million player option, and then move him over to Boston. Don't know what that would entail in terms of the pieces. We've obviously on this station talked a bunch about Boston potentially moving some of their key players, especially their guards. There's a lot of reports.
Imagine if we get Jaylen Brown.
Dude, just think about it. Just think about it. So Boston is clearly trying to move some guards. They Marcus Smart, Malcolm Brogdon, Derek White, and as well as Peyton Pritchard. They believe that all those guys deserve minutes, and they can't all get minutes because of just the logjam there. And that's Shams putting that out. And I actually don't really want to talk about the Porzingis or Celtics angle of this at all.
No, but quick thought on Porzingis, though, because I think I've come on record saying I am not a Porzingis guy.
Oh, bro, you're slipping.
You are though,
yes.
Right? I think we've had debates over it. He is someone though I have kind of warmed up to the idea of if the Kings were to kind of, and I don't think they will, but if they were to kind of just stick their heads in there, he is someone who can block shots. He can
rim protector who stretches the floor,
the floor. I mean, I'd be open to it. $36 million is probably doable by the King standards. So
it's heavy. Is it 36? That's what the player option is.
$36 million. I think the deadline's coming up too. So for
Porzingis is the only player where I hear the name, I'm like, I'm like that meme.
Yeah,
of the girl taking a drink, like
the kombucha girl. Yeah.
No.
Well, it's like Costa Kufis, I think, had that gift too. Where
yes.
Like,
man, yeah, with the Curb Your Enthusiasm song playing. Yeah.
Exactly.
No, when I think about Porzingis, I think about, first of all, the Knicks fans that were crying when they drafted him.
Oh my gosh,
is like
that little kid
weeping,
like legitimately, like someone just killed his dog.
Who'd they pass? Who'd they pass up? Who do they want?
Was that Julius Randle? Was it Brandon?
No, it was there was no one even after him. What do they want?
Yeah, I don't know.
There's Mario Hezonja.
Ooh,
no.
They eventually got him.
Willie Cauley-Stein.
Yikes.
No. Emmanuel Mudiay, Stanley Johnson, Frank Kaminsky. This is an awful draft.
Bad draft.
So I don't know what the kids
Everything you
about.
do turns to poop.
It does.
What I wanted to focus on with this story
Speaking
is
of the draft.
The other day on the Ryan Russillo podcast, Adrian Wojnarowski said that he's not going to be tweeting out any of the picks. He will not be doing the thing that pretty much got him on the map, and he will not be revealing the picks early. He said he wants to focus more on the TV side of things, and he said it's just really hard for him, obviously, to kind of live in his phone and try and get tweets out while also, doing the TV product. And he said this year he wants to focus on the TV product. Where do you fall on tipping picks?
Or he works for ESPN, and they probably are like,
they
hey,
broadcast. Yeah, they're like, hey, don't ruin our broadcast.
People have their notifications on for you, and you're tweeting picks out 8 minutes before.
Right.
Like he literally, the Kings were on the clock for 4 last year. I think he already was tweeting out what the 5th or 6th pick was.
Yeah. But he was doing that thing if he wasn't saying who they're going to pick.
Right. He was saying
they're warming up
hyper focused on and
all the different wordings of they're warming up to the idea of selecting blank with this pick.
He said for Jaren Jackson's, I'm pretty sure it was Jaren Jackson. He said Jaren Jackson has grown comfortable with the idea, or increasingly comfortable with the idea of going to Memphis at the number 3 spot.
Yeah. I mean, the tipping picks thing is tough because from a writing standpoint, it's kind of nice to get
from someone that has worked many a draft.
Yeah. Right. Well, it's nice to get an idea so you can get ahead of and start getting your story together and getting the stats you need and just getting, the posts on the website. It's all about getting the clicks, man.
Absolutely, baby.
So that helps. But I mean, from a fan perspective, I remember in the 2017 draft, I did not want to have it spoiled for me. So I just put my phone on
with
the
side.
Bagley
pick, yeah.
No, Fox.
Fox.
And I really wanted the Kings to get Fox that year. So I really just put my phone on the side. And as soon as 4 was Josh Jackson, I just was like stoked because I knew.
Yeah.
And I hadn't checked, but I think as a fan, it's hard to not want to know what's going to happen or anything. Really.
Yes,
I think
absolutely.
some people skip to the back of books, or they want to see, or they look on
yes.
Wikipedia to see how movies get. They have like the whole plots lined up.
They open the Christmas presents.
I think I told you I skipped the end of Harry Potter, the 7th book.
Did you really?
I did. Yeah, I did. I couldn't wait.
Bro, that's terrible.
I was like 13. I was like, I was going to get through this thing. I'm not. I've waited too long. I wanted
Did you
to know
read
what
all the first 6?
I did.
And then no comment. Go
I
ahead.
went back
Sorry.
into. I went back in. You're a Harry Potter guy.
Yeah,
but anyways,
not books,
some people want to know. And I think that you can't. I mean, I think Shams will probably still tweet pics out. I'm sure he's probably like, okay,
yeah, exactly. That's also an element of this as well. I mean, I don't really follow the Shams versus Woj thing too carefully, but from what I understand, Shams has kind of been washing Woj, and it hasn't even really been close. So I do wonder how much of that is just like, I didn't get not fired, but essentially like I quit. I didn't, I didn't get washed off.
Shams like had that interview where it was like he's like, my screen time is 20 hours.
Bro,
it's like, dude, you gotta. I thought mine was bad.
Not healthy.
You have to stop.
Not healthy at all.
And I think Woj, I mean, he has a job with ESPN. He goes on TV. I mean, that is a pretty cool gig. I think you kind of can move on from that, having to tweet out picks. You can just be a guy that talks about the picks, analyst, and kind of expand that part of your job.
Yeah.
So I think it's cool from that perspective for him. But I think that this year, obviously, as every year, I think people will probably, I think more than not, will still probably tap into Twitter and see what's going on and react to picks. You see things anyway. Someone will put things out that are going to spoil it. But if I was a fan on the outside and just watching the draft and just wanted to take it in, I'd probably not want to be spoiled. Personally,
I feel like it would be good for us all to just kind of go back to learning things live on television. Like, I do think that there is a cool element of like us all really learning at the same time, like what happens. And, obviously you can still do that on Twitter and engage in the same way, but it's just not the same. I don't know. It's never, it's really, I mean, and I'm sure, like you're saying, the reason why they're doing it is it pretty much ruins the television.
It is
product.
Incredible. And I know anyone out there over the age, I mean, it's definitely older is going to completely like vomit what I'm about to say, but like, how did you get news of like, I don't know, in like 1980, like I was watching like the Bill Walton documentary on ESPN, which is great, by the way. Anyone out there, 30 for 30 on Bill Walton. If you like Bill Walton or like don't like him, whatever, watch it and it might change your perspective. Because it was a great documentary. He's the
greatest.
He's so great.
He's
his story and like all the things he went. There's a lot of cool things.
Dude's hilarious.
But the trade, I just thought about it. It was like a little thought in my head when he got traded to Boston. Like, how did people find out about that?
Yeah.
Like the newspaper, like a couple of days later.
Grandpa.
I don't know. It's like now a trade happens. Like probably like right after it happens. Yeah.
Within minutes.
Agent wants to let it out. They tell a reporter, my phone gets notification. I know. I don't have to read the paper tomorrow morning or wait for a newscast or whatever a couple days. I just wait for that. So I don't know. It's very intriguing. Or like even going further back, like when the Yankees bought Babe Ruth from the Red Sox, like did people not really know because they didn't get a newspaper and they showed up?
Did it trickle in days after? Like maybe New York papers learned it, but it took like 2 days for like a California paper to learn it.
Someone like had to like go work in the mines, or like they show up on opening day and Babe Ruth is like in the Yankees uniform. Like what
is this? Hey, who is this guy?
Who's this guy? Yeah,
freaking Red Sox man.
What's this? The pinstripes? Yeah. I don't know.
Interesting.
Babe Ruth sold for $100,000 so that the owner of the Red Sox could start a play, by the way. He wanted to open up a play on Broadway.
$125,000.
$125,000. Real Yankee fan back there in CV.
Gosh, that is, I mean, I understand why they said that they were cursed after that. That's yikes.
The play apparently was not good.
I would imagine so, right? I can't imagine that it would be good.
Yeah.
I wouldn't imagine.
But I digress.
Anyways, yes, let's talk about NBA draft. It's obviously happening tomorrow. You can check out Frankie's been writing player. How many have you been? 2 a day? Has it been 2 a day or is it just one?
2 days, some days, one.
Okay.
I saved Kris Murray for last.
I noticed that.
He was the one for last because, again, Kris Murray, I had a couple mock drafts here just ready to look over. Every mock draft I'm seeing right now, Sporting News, ESPN, they all have Kris Murray to 24.
Yeah.
So
very interesting. Do you feel like that's lazy? Or do you think that there is actual possibility that Kris Murray actually slips to 24 and the Kings actually have interest in Kris Murray?
I think there's a possibility he's there at 24, but I think that the only reason why teams or not teams, but outlets are continuously putting him at 24. Again, I don't believe Kris Murray's had a workout with the Kings.
It has not been announced.
Not reported or announced or anyone is that's not sourced. I have not heard anything either. I just think that it's because his twin brother is here that they're putting him at 24 because there are some players that I think would fit the Kings, maybe even better than Kris Murray. And still every mock draft I'm seeing has Kris Murray. And I think that he would be a good fit here. I think that he's someone that is. I think that the twin dynamic is cool, and it's
really
something
cool.
that
It's a great story.
It's not the only reason why the Kings should draft him, but I do think that he's a better defender than Keegan. I think he's someone that is not going to bring that same 3-point impact as Keegan, but someone who, if the Kings want to have someone in the paint do a little more damage, she is more physical, at least from the eye test, than Keegan was, and Keegan had to adjust with that at the NBA level, and he was able to do that in the playoffs as well, and he taking strides forward defensively is a huge goal of his. He said that before, but I think Kris is someone who could come in and maybe even be more of a positive out of the gates. Someone who also, the Kings are doing a lot of these pre-draft workouts with guys, and the reported players they brought in, the similarity they have, most of these guys are over the age of 21 or going to be over the age of 21 coming into opening night. That's also something I think that Monty McNair really has kind of unofficially leaned on. Yeah, with Tyrese Halliburton was 21 in his rookie season. You obviously Davion was 23, I believe, in his rookie season. Keegan Murray, going to be 23. It wouldn't surprise me if some of the guys you see, they come in, they bring a guy that can fit this age range as well. Because I think bringing in an 18 and 19-year-old prospect for a Kings team that is inserting itself in the NBA playoff, a perennial playoff team, that conversation, it makes more sense to bring in a guy who has an NBA-ready body, NBA-ready build.
Yeah.
And Kris Murray has that, among others.
Yeah. And that's the thing is the Kings at that spot, like if you can get somebody who's more NBA-ready now, to me, that's the Kings need players. Like they have really big holes in terms of backup wing or backup center even. And I think they can address that in the draft. And if, obviously you can deal with the Harrison Barnes starting element via trade or via free agency with guys like Kyle Kuzma or Jeremy Grant. But I just think that this draft is a really good opportunity with some of these older veteran guys.
What do you see
to really, get a guy that can impact winning next year. And I think that could be done at 24. I also think it could be done at 38 or, 54. I think there might even be some names out there that could contribute to this team at some point next year. We'll talk a little bit more about the NBA draft coming up in our next segment. Also, probably just talk a little offseason as well. We're joined by Frankie Cardicelli for one more segment right here on Kris and Company, Sactown Sports 1140 and SactownSports.com.
The Kings season might be over, but Sactown Sports coverage never stops.
Guys on other teams, when they look at the Sacramento Kings, they feel that this is a fun brand of basketball to play.
Stay tuned all off-season to Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com for the latest Kings news.
Since 1776, July 4th has been celebrated as the birth of American independence, but it's been a federal holiday only since 1941. Hi, this is Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. It was a mere 7 years later when the Keys family opened their first Naturewood store in Sacramento. And I guess Northern Californians have been celebrating ever since. We celebrate an incredible selection of furniture brands made right here in America. We celebrate the kind of generous hometown hospitality that was important to Walter Keys in 1948 and continues with the Keys family and the Naturewood Home Furnishing staff today. And we celebrate the kind of quality that's been synonymous with Naturewood for all these 74 years. Look for made-in-America brands like Stanton, Sam Moore, Stickley, Hilltop Hickory, Simply Amish, and more during the Naturewood 4th of July sale event. Find the furniture that you will celebrate for years to come. Naturewood Home Furnishings, off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
I'm Ken Korak with your Green and Gold Report, brought to you by Xfinity 10G, the next generation network. Well, coming up in August, the A's will induct the next class into the A's Hall of Fame. It'll be before the A's play the Giants on Sunday, August 6th. And what a group. Jason Giambi, World Series champions Carney Lansford and Gene Tennis, five-time All-Star and former Philadelphia Athletic Bob Johnson, and the great voice of God, Roy Steele. The induction ceremony, the A's and the Giants on August 6th. Ken Korak here, introducing you to the Xfinity 10G network. Xfinity is undergoing a multi-year network evolution, giving you a powerful connection today while building toward a faster, more reliable tomorrow. The Xfinity 10G network gives you the fastest internet with even faster speeds rolling out all the time. You also get a consistent and reliable connection when everyone's online, even during peak hours. That's a home run. If you want to learn more, go online at xfinity.com/10G.
At aimyourdigital.com, we'll help you find the right customers, spread awareness of your product or services, We can help build trust in your brand and services with a digital marketing campaign. Increase leads and get more customers. We create tailored digital marketing campaigns that deliver results. Don't wait. Get started today. Contact aimyourdigital.com. That's aimyourdigital.com and start seeing results.
Thunder, feel the thunder.
It ignites something inside of you.
Lightning and the thunder.
It's Thunder Valley's $20,000 20th anniversary cash giveaway. 5 winners on Friday and Saturday nights in June. One very lucky guest wins $20,000 guaranteed. See it, hear it, feel it.
Thunder, feel the thunder. Lightning and the thunder.
Thunder Valley Casino Resort. Feel the thunder.
When you take the time to shop at Folsom Lake Honda, there's one thing you'll always find. Happy people ready to serve you. As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our #1 priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too. Get an instant cash offer for your trade at FolsomLakeHonda.com. We'll buy your car whether you buy from us or not. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop.
Folsom Lake Honda. Yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
Hey guys, June is Men's Health Month, and Revive Men's Health encourages you to prioritize your health. Book your free exam and T-check today and save $199. Call 916-277-8599 or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Sitting at your desk, watch Kris and Company now. YouTube.com/Sactown Sports 1140.
Final segment here with Frankie Cardicelli on Kris and Company today. We are truly running Kris and Co. Frankie is passing on the baton to Emil Fergoso, our San Francisco 49ers insider, but Emil has also been writing tons about this NBA draft, so we're definitely going to talk some draft with him.
We're all part of the same miracle.
All part of the same miracle. You're right, Vince. Absolutely. I'm sorry, Vin. Wow. Is it? No?
That's Vin Diesel.
Is that Vin Diesel?
Yeah, it's Vin Diesel.
I just called him Vince.
Vincent? Is his name Vincent?
Is it Vince?
No,
Do we know? It's just Vin.
Is his birth name Vin?
I'm pretty sure his birth name isn't Diesel.
The Diesel.
Well, we don't know
What's his
that.
actual last name? He's Italian, I think, isn't he? It's like something Italian.
You're thinking of
Cardicelli.
Dominic Toretto.
No, I think he's actually. I think it's like. It's. Oh wait, never mind.
I'm sure it's like Vin Diesel is just his stage name.
You'll never guess his name. It's
Jonathan Terry.
Mark Sinclair.
Remember, I'm
quite
the
get to say.
Fast and Furious guy in this building.
I've seen one.
Not you.
I've seen one. It is Tokyo Drift.
I know you like Harry Potter.
It's him.
I was like, what is he that even about?
Quick, I see a draft question in the chat.
Yes.
Frankie, what is your insight on Omax out of Marquette? Looks like an OG Jeremy Grant type. I think Kris and I, we both are Omax guys.
Big time.
Omax. I mean, he is someone who, again, he's not, I think his shooting doesn't jump off the page, but
Mm-hmm.
he's like, as far as his wingspan, his height, 6'8", 230, he fits that build of being like a 3-and-D, that potential. Especially the defensive side. He is like a disruptor on ball. He's quick feet, a guy the Kings obviously probably would like to draft, but his stock has just skyrocketed. I think he might go as high as the teens.
Yeah, he could, but I mean, he can also fall because I've heard he is shooting incredibly well in his pre-draft workouts, which is the main question about him. I was going to say, I know the Ringer draft guide always does shades of. If I had to give a shades of for Omax, I would say it's probably like shades of OG Anunoby, but also shades of like, one of the McDaniels or a Jared Vanderbilt, because it's more, OG is more of an established shooter at this point. And OG did have questions coming into the draft about his shot, but Omax's body is really, really impressive. I mean, he's 6'9", he's really, really big, got long arms. But the Vanderbilt McDaniels comparison is more because the shooting is such a question that and we saw how the Lakers ended up treating Jared Vanderbilt in the playoffs. If you can't hit your shot, that's going to be the problem for him staying on the floor. So I'm very willing to take the risk on Omax, but there's definitely some real questions there about his shooting.
Do we have a breaking news sound, or
do we have breaking news?
Is there no breaking news sound anymore?
When it breaks,
we have it first.
It's Sactown Sports breaking news.
You read it?
Yeah, I'll read this. This is this official? Is this officially official? I'll just read it out. So I'm going to Ron Burgundy this. So excuse me if there's something in here that doesn't make sense. Wizards, Celtics, and Clippers are in strong talks on a trade that would send Kristaps Porzingis to Boston, Marcus Morris and draft compensation to Washington, and Malcolm Brogdon to Los Angeles. Sides are still working through the deal and through the details, and also Porzingis' $36 million player option.
Kind of significant to me that the Celtics would part with Brogdon.
Sure, yeah. I mean, they just brought him in.
6th man of the year, right?
6th man of the year.
I mean, clearly you see the Celtics are kind of highlighting their area of need. They need to upgrade down low.
They've needed a big for a very long time.
Yeah, Robert Williams, injury problems. Al Horford is, I think, 37 next season.
Yeah, he's getting up there.
Porzingis, someone who also comes with injury risk. But
he definitely does.
But when he's healthy, he's
great.
A 2010 guy and 2-3 blocks a game. So, again, this is like kind of a swing for the fences move here. I don't really see how it frees up much money for the Celtics or any. I think it actually adds money.
It does add money, but they get off of Porzingis' $36 million after next year. I don't know what their cap situation looks like besides that, but there's potential that they could possibly open up some cap space next year with Porzingis' 36. But for Boston, I mean, that is a guy that they've been looking for, is just general height. They could use some size, especially with when they run Robert Williams down at center. They're just a little vertically challenged at that point. And so Kristaps Porzingis is really just a great option. A guy who offensively doesn't muck things up with playing with Robert Williams because he can stand on the perimeter, but also defensively, like you mentioned, he's a good weak side rim protector and can get you 2 blocks a game, in a given season. Again, health definitely permitting, but I think that's a really good move for Boston. And then we can tie this into a Kings talk because Malcolm Brogdon now is coming over to LA. We were talking earlier about about Paul George potentially being moved. I don't know if that changes this at all. Again, Clippers have been looking for point guards. They're in talks with as a potential third team to send Chris Paul over to. There's also talks that they're going to bring Russell Westbrook back, or at least try to, but now Malcolm Brogdon comes in and is their point guard. I mean, let's just assume, I guess, for the moment that Paul George will stick around. Does a Malcolm Brogdon, Paul George led team put any fear in your heart as a Kings fan?
Not really. I mean, I think Brogdon's a really good player, but does this move the needle as far as make them a championship contender?
Yeah,
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
And the other thing they would do, I guess, would be if they go Chris Paul, and then so that if they can somehow bring Chris Paul over, I don't know if that would be on his full contract he's on the hook for, or for he gets waived and he's on a vet min. I don't know, but if you're going Chris Paul and Malcolm Brogdon, I mean, yeah, maybe that's okay. But
this is going to be the most injured team in America. Malcolm Brogdon has missed tons of time. Chris Paul has missed tons of time. Kawhi Leonard is missing. Eric Gordon is. I forgot they added Eric Gordon at the deadline. Interesting move for the Clippers. I mean, the Clippers, I guess, really aren't moving off of much. They're just moving off of Marcus Morris and draft compensation, whatever that may be. I think the Clippers were in the mid-20s, if I'm not mistaken.
Which year?
It doesn't say which year. It just says draft compensation.
Yeah, I don't know.
Washington. So
a thought I'm having right now, though.
Yeah.
Does this kind of set you up to think it's going to be a busy day tomorrow? Do you think that there could? Do you expect? Because I have to go. I guess.
Yeah, I know. I just looked at the time.
Do you expect a lot of movement tomorrow? I mean, I personally don't, but I'm wondering if you feel different.
I don't think so. I mean, with hearing that Brandon Miller is going to be number 2, it's sounding like Portland isn't going to move on from number 3, whether that's right or wrong. And those are really the only picks that would garner some really star player. Brandon Ingram, Zion, Damian Lillard, obviously involved in that. I think there's always going to be moves in the draft, whether it be, we could see the Kings move 24 and Rashawn Holmes for something. There's going to be tons of, slight movement, but in terms of stars getting moved, I just don't see it. I don't think it's going to happen. And I feel like we're always promised tons of big moves on draft day, and they just never come
I can't even remember the last time something big did happen.
Potentially Kings Buddy Hield trade.
Parting thing free. Maybe you guys talk about this. Tay in the chat says, we want Kyle Kuzma, a.k.a. Daddy,
aka Daddy. I'll have to check Basketball Reference on the nicknames for that one.
Nickname?
I don't know if Kyle Kuzma has ever been called Daddy. But, we'll have to. I'll have my people look into that.
We'll talk about that next time.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
We'll table that one.
Frankie, appreciate you hopping on for the hour. All hands on deck for today. And
thanks for having me.
This has been really fun. And I think we are recording on
Friday.
So me and Frankie will be recording Return of the Roar podcast on Friday. So be on the lookout for that. We will have all of your draft
Happy
reaction.
draft, everybody.
Coming up next, we will be joined by our San Francisco 49ers insider, Emil Fergosa. We're going to talk NBA draft. We're also going to talk some Niners at some point as well. You're listening to Kris and Company right here on Sactown Sports 1140 and SactownSports.com.
I know you like Harry Potter.
Check out the Golf to Go Hour with Frank LaRosa every week on Sactown Sports. Get the latest on equipment, area courses, people who play the great game, and plenty of good conversations about golf. It's the Golf to Go Hour every week with Frank LaRosa on Sactown Sports. Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, America's most awarded golf facility. Naturewood Home Furnishings, where it's all about choices and always about quality.
All new spring deals are here at Lowe's. Start planting your garden this weekend with Bonnie 11.8-ounce vegetables. Buy 4 for $10. Plus, liven up your patios and decks with fresh blooms. Select 1.5-gallon hanging baskets or 2 for $20. Lowe's knows spring. Lowe's knows home improvement. Offers valid through 5/17. In-store only. Actual plant size and selection varies by location. While supplies last, excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
Pain is not normal. Repeat, pain is not normal. Greetings, Sacramento. Doug Christie here with the Good Feet store. Does this sound familiar? It's the end of the workday and the pain in your feet, knees, hips, or back is unrelenting. Good Feet understands that you've likely already tried assorted remedies and solutions with no relief. And now you're pretty much resigned to living with the pain. But do not give in to the pain. Instead, come to the Good Feet store for their end-to-end 3-step arch support system. Good Feet is the nation's largest manufacturer and retailer of personalized arch supports. With arch supports in over 300 sizes, styles, and flexibilities, and an arch support specialist in each store. Come in today for a free, no-obligation arch support fitting, then take them for a test walk around the store or around the center. Experience the comfort, balance, and support possible with the Good Feet system. The Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, Stockton, Modesto, and now in Vacaville. Online at goodfeet.com.
Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned, and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
Since 1776, July 4th has been celebrated as the birth of American independence, but it's been a federal holiday only since 1941. Hi, this is Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. It was a mere 7 years later when the Keys family opened their first Naturewood store in Sacramento, and I guess Northern Californians have been celebrating ever since. We celebrate an incredible selection of furniture brands made right here in America. We celebrate the kind of generous hometown hospitality that was important to Walter Keys in 1948 and continues with the Keys family and the Naturewood Home Furnishing staff today. And we celebrate the kind of quality that's been synonymous with Naturewood for all these 74 years. Look for made in America brands like Stanton, Sam Moore, Stickley, Hilltop Hickory, Simply Amish, and more during the Naturewood 4th of July sale event. Find the furniture that you will celebrate for years to come. Naturewood Home Furnishings, off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water wheel. At Elk Grove Honda, we see every Honda buyer as a member of the family, so we make sure every certified pre-owned Honda is one we would buy from ourselves. At Elk Grove Honda, we include many benefits that a private seller just can't match. Our Honda-trained technicians only certify our Hondas if they pass a thorough 182-point inspection, and our certified pre-owned Hondas are under 5 years old. So you know you're getting the newest Hondas in prime condition. See our exceptional selection of certified pre-owned Hondas in the Elk Grove Auto Mall or online at elkgrovehonda.com.
I gotta get an Elk Grove Honda.
Kenny and Jerry here from Bell Brothers. Imagine if every time you bought something, you could get a second one for 30% off. Buy one car, get the second one for 30% off.
Buy one TV, get the second one at 30% off. Buy a new house and get the second one at 30% off.
At Bell Brothers, that's exactly what we're offering this spring on windows and doors. When you buy one brand new energy-efficient window for your home, you'll get the second one at 30% off.
A minimum purchase is required, but the discount applies to every second window you buy. For example, if you buy 5 windows, you'll get 5 windows at 30% off.
The same is true for doors. Buy one, get one for 30% off. And for doors, the minimum is just 2.
So call Bell Brothers now at 916-444-1234 or find us online at theNoSurpriseGuys.com. That's 916-444-1234 or find us online at theNoSurpriseGuys.com.
The No Surprise Guys, Bell Brothers.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento.
Type it on the local level.
Live and local, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios. Sactown Sports. Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
I'm Kris Murray with your Sactown Sports headlines. ESPN's Shams Charania said that the Boston Celtics, the LA Clippers, and the Washington Wizards are all in strong trade talks that would send Kristaps Porzingis to Boston. Marcus Morris and draft compensation would go to Washington, and Malcolm Brogdon would be sent to the Los Angeles Clippers. Shams says that the sides are still working through the details and Porzingis' $36 million player option. Tomorrow is the NBA draft, where the Sacramento Kings have the 24th pick in the first round, as well as the 38th pick and the 54th pick in the second round. We'll have you completely covered with tomorrow's draft, including a special draft show from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. with our very own Chris Watkins and Jason Ross. Sactown Sports NBA draft coverage is brought to you by Power Business Technology. Power Business Technology for all your business office equipment needs. Contact them at 844-POWER-BZ or go to powercopiers.com. Those are your headlines. Let's get back to Kris and company with our new guest, Emil Fregoso.
Sitting at your desk, watch Kris and Company now. YouTube.com/Sactown Sports 1140.
Kris and company. What is this? We're working on hour 3 here. Third host of the day. Joining me, Emil Fregoso, our San Francisco 49ers insider, also has done tons and tons and tons of work on this NBA draft over at SactownSports.com. First things first, Emil, how you feeling on this Wednesday? Feeling good?
I'm feeling great. Another hour. I was on with the morning show this morning.
That's right.
9:30. I was late, but I got here. It's okay.
Matter. It's because you had to do this, and so it's fine. It's fine. You're doing this show. That's all that matters. You were on time here. That's all anybody cares about. Nobody cares about that morning show. Anyway.
Look, this is how this came about this morning. Kris texted me at like 7:30. Was like, "Hey, do you want to come on for an hour today?" I was like, "Absolutely, I'm down. Let's do this, my guy."
Yeah,
100%.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, absolutely. Glad that the bat signal went up and you were there to answer the call, because it was a crazy morning. But
what's that Ja Rule song? Always there when you call.
Yes,
always on time.
Murder. Yes, absolutely. And that's what we're working with today. It's all hands on deck. We got Emil joining me for the next hour, and then we are bringing in the rear will be Jason Ross, who will also be hosting from 2 to 6 today with Jay Johnson. So thankful for everybody joining me today. Emil, man, I mean, we there's so much going on today. I mean, it's a good thing that there's so much news happening, but let's start off with the draft, because you have been doing a ton of draft work over at Sactown Sports 1140, including something I want to talk about right now. Yesterday, actually this morning it dropped.
Yes.
Your 6 trades that teams should consider leading into the 2023 NBA draft. Obviously, the draft is tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that. Again, you can see me and listen to me and Jason Ross tomorrow from 6 to 9 right here on Sactown Sports 1140. And our NBA draft coverage is brought to you by Power Business Technology for all your business office equipment needs. Contact them at 844-POWER-BZ or go to powercopiers.com. Again, that's tomorrow from 6 to 9, me and Jay Ross. But with these trades that you have in this article here, I mean, there is tons, and there is so many names that you're throwing in there. I mean, this is some real cap gymnastics that you've done here in this article. Just which one's your favorite, and which one do you feel like is the most likely?
The most likely to happen?
Yes. Because, I mean, bro, like, I'm looking at these trades. It's at least 3. You got 3 team trades with at least 3 players going to each team. And there's you clearly put some thought into this. So I'm curious to know what your thoughts were.
This
coming
took
out
me
of
a culmination of like 4 to 5 hours
Yeah,
on Sunday.
I can see that.
Like
I
sat on the trade machine for like 3 hours just doing this, just doing the math in my head and the gymnastics of what it would require to make these work.
Yes.
And these are all big swing moves.
They are all very good trades. I will say that. Like all of them, you can explain it as you go through it, but like they all make sense for different reasons.
I think the one that's most likely to happen out of the 6 that are there that I just laid out was either number 6, which is Jordan Clarkson going back to the Lakers.
How about that?
Which is fun as hell, or Cat going to Atlanta.
Let's start with Cat at Atlanta, because Cat is a name that people have been asking me this question in terms of just who is the next guy that you feel like will be available. We're hearing Dame, we're hearing Zion, we heard Brandon Ingram's name thrown out there. And so people are wondering who's going to be another superstar that's going to be available. And I'm glad that you put Cat in there, because Cat has been my answer. To me, with everything that went down in Minnesota last offseason, with them shipping off everybody and their mothers for Rudy Gobert, and then that situation just not working out, I think Minnesota is going to have to pivot in a major way. And I think you're not going to trade Anthony Edwards, who actually shows some real star potential. No. You're going to move Cat, who has been there for a while and really still has some questions about whether or not he's potential, whether or not he can potentially reach his ceiling like we thought would happen when he was drafted. So tell me about that trade, Cat to Atlanta.
Yeah. Fun facts. It's time for fun facts.
Let's do it
with Cat. Cat is entering his 9th season in the NBA.
That's crazy.
His 9th
That is insane.
season.
There's no way I would have guessed that.
9. He was drafted first overall in 2015.
Yeah.
This is his 9th season in the NBA. Out of the last 9 years, Minnesota has been a combined 273 and 355.
It's not good. That's a losing.
That's 43.4%.
It's not good.
Not great.
No, that's not good. That's not even going to get you a 10 seed.
And the last 3 years when they've had winning records, made the playoffs.
Yeah.
That's when Anthony Edwards has been there.
Yes, it has. Yeah, absolutely.
So put him out of there. They're not a winning basketball team.
Yes.
Cat clearly is not what they thought they were getting when they drafted them first overall in terms of a franchise-altering guy. He's not a franchise-altering center. He's a really good player and an all-star caliber center. His biggest issues, though, defensively. He gets exposed, especially in the playoffs.
Decision-making as well.
Decision-making, just kind of IQ, which is not what you want to hear for a guy who many consider to be one of the most talented centers on the market.
Yeah. So just so the listeners understand, and you obviously don't have the trade in front of you. Emil proposes hold on everybody, because there's going to be a lot of names thrown out here. So the Atlanta Hawks get Gordon Hayward, Kyle Anderson, Karl Anthony Towns, and Taurean Prince. The Minnesota Timberwolves in exchange would get Bogdan Bogdanovic. John Collins is finally moved out of Atlanta. DeAndre Hunter, as well as 2 first-round picks, including the Sacramento Kings pick that they gave last year for the Kevin Huerter deal. And to the Hornets, who send off Gordon Hayward to Atlanta, it will be Clint Capella and a second-round pick. I think all of that works.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think all of that works. I can't really see the Hornets are essentially getting rid of or swapping Gordon Hayward for Clint Capella. They've been looking for a center for forever. I mean, they keep drafting. Mark Williams and Kai Jones have been their last 2 first-round picks. So they get Clint Capella on 2 years. He's a good lob threat. Should be really fun to play with LaMelo.
Yeah.
Timberwolves are trading off of Cat, Taurean Prince, and Kyle Anderson, but are getting back Bogey, who has 4 years on his deal. I think he just signed an extension. John Collins, who has been thrown in trade rumors every day of the week, including twice on Sunday, and DeAndre Hunter, who also has 4 years left on his deal. I think if anything, maybe Atlanta would be hesitant to move on from Hunter. But besides that, that's really the only flaw I can see in this trade.
Hunter, the reason why Hunter's included is not just because of money, it's because of the contract and because of what they're presented with in this new CBA. We have. I took into account the old CBA, which is much more lenient towards second apron teams, and the new CBA, which is hell for every team if you want to spend money. It sucks. So the Timberwolves, just going into this offseason with the roster they currently have $140 million already strapped to their cap.
Jeez. My goodness.
That's a lot of money.
That is a lot.
For a team
tough to build around.
Is kind of rudderless right now.
Yeah, they're in, what were they, 9 seed last year? Or
they made the playoffs.
I know
somehow.
they made the playoffs. Yeah, they ended up winning the play-in, or the second play-in to get the 8 seed. So, I mean, they're far away from being where they want to be. And if you're already committed to $140+ million and you're a 10 seed, that's not where you want to be. That's just that's not.
And where else you don't want to be if you don't think Cat is your guy is paying Cat this contract, which at the end of it is a player option of $62 million when he's 31 years old.
My goodness,
which
that's heavy.
I'm just gonna do it right now. He's gonna probably pick that one up.
He's gonna opt into that. Breaking news right there.
Breaking news right there.
Anthony Towns is opting in 5 years from now.
So this is a great change of scenery trade for a lot involved, and for the Hawks, they save a little bit of money actually after this season because of the expiring contracts by the rotational players. They have to re-sign DeJounte Murray after this season.
Yeah.
That's something that people forget about is that DeJounte came on a similar to Sabonis, came on a 2-year deal that's a lot cheaper considering his value. They're going to have to sign him to max money. They got to make sure they have that money available to do, which is why Hunter moves out.
Let's move on to that other trade real quick here. Jordan Clarkson going back to the purple and gold over to LA. You have Kelly Olynyk and Jordan Clarkson, as well as a Philadelphia first-round pick. It'll be the 28th pick in tomorrow's draft. So Clarkson, Olynyk, and the 28th pick for D'Angelo Russell, Mo Bamba, in the 17th pick in tomorrow's draft. Tell me what you like about that one.
Well, here's the thing. D'Angelo isn't really going to be on the Jazz. It's just kind of a placeholder for the money. The Lakers are renouncing him. As soon as this trade happens, the Lakers are renouncing him. And frankly, Clarkson provides everything Russell does at a much cheaper cost.
Yes.
And
familiarity as well, obviously, returning back to LA.
Plus, they get Kelly Olynyk, who can shoot threes and is a stretch big, which LeBron loves.
Yeah. No, and that fits really well next to AD as well. I mean, if you can have somebody who can stretch the floor with LeBron and AD, especially at center, like I think Kelly Olynyk's like a criminally underrated guy. We've seen him, in finals and game 7s have massive games in the past, but also even last year for Utah was like a really, really good 3-point shooter. And was a capable center for sure. So I really like that move. I don't like it for the Lakers, obviously, because I do think the Lakers get a little bit better with that move. I mean, Clarkson was a 6th man of the year, 2 years ago?
3 years ago,
yeah. So, I mean, if they can get that kind of scoring option, and who knows what they're going to do with Austin Reeves, if they'll, if they'll bring Austin Reeves back or if he's going to walk in free agency. I really like that move for LA. That's definitely one of, if not my favorite, that you had here. But you can check out 4 other deals that Emil came up with. Again, he put hours into this article. So please go on over to Sactown Sports 1140 right now and check that out. You mentioned the aprons and how the aprons or the tiers in which the new CBA is going to restrict teams in terms of building for the future. Well, a team that doesn't care at all about what you have to say about the aprons is the Phoenix Suns. We'll talk about the Phoenix Suns and their move for Bradley Beal coming up next right here on Kris and Company, Sactown Sports, and the SactownSports.com.
The King season might be over, but Sactown Sports coverage never stops.
Expectations coming into the season and how we performed. I mean, it's one of the more special seasons that I've had in my 11 years.
Stay tuned all off season to Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com for the latest Kings news.
Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned, and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
Greetings from M&S Auto on El Camino, just off the Cap City Freeway. And a big thanks to our repeat customers for letting us be your favorite car dealer. Repeat customers make us proud. M&S customers know that they're going to find the car, 4x4, or SUV they want. They'll get treated like family and save thousands. Whether you're a repeat customer or a first-time buyer, welcome. M&S Auto, the intelligent car buying experience. msautogroup.com.
Keeping you company with the company. It's Kris and Company with Chris Watkins on Sactown Sports.
Your local sports leader.
When I hear this song, I do not think of, who is this? This is MGMT, right? Or something like that. Where is it?
It is.
I can think it's
no.
Empire of the Sun? Or
Empire of the Sun.
Yes. When I think of this song, this is Wiz Khalifa, The Thrill. That's what I think. That is not. What is this actual song called? You know? Any idea?
Walking on a Dream.
Walking on a Dream.
There it is.
Every time
I first heard it in the movie Hall Pass.
Wow.
That's heard of Empire of the Sun.
Owen Wilson?
Yeah. I was like,
Ted
that's
Lasso?
a semi-recent movie, isn't it?
That's not recent.
It's probably like 2008 or something.
Oh, yeah. Okay. That's recent for me. That was probably around the last time I went to the movie
like
theater.
15 years ago.
You've been to the movie theater that long?
No, I mean, it hasn't been that long, but it might as well be.
What?
Like, I go like maybe
What's the last
once
movie you
every
went
other
to?
year. I honestly couldn't tell you.
I'm a big movie theater
The
guy.
last movie I went to the theater to see, yours was Fast, right?
No, I saw Spider-Man.
Spider-Verse, Emil. Last movie in the
It was this year. I couldn't tell you what. Avatar.
I don't think
That was last year.
Well, that's December, but still.
I think the last movie I saw was Spider-Man, the new like not the Spider-Verse, but the one with spoiler with all three Spider-Man.
Okay.
No Way Home?
No Way Home.
That was the last movie?
I think that was the last.
That was like 2021.
That was the last movie I saw in the theater. I've not been, yeah, definitely.
I'm a big movie theater guy.
Yeah, I never saw.
Are you? You've only seen Avatar.
It's been 6 months since you've been to the theater.
It's
been 3 years since I've.
Look, I hasn't been a lot of movies I wanted to go see. I'm not a big Across the Spider-Verse guy. That's just personally my thing.
I thought the first one was okay.
I like
It's really good.
The new one.
I've heard it's really good. I just can't get into the animated stuff with Spider-Man. I don't know why.
Interesting.
It's
it
a
looks. I mean,
preference.
it looks fine to me. I don't know if it's gonna. I don't have high expectations, but
Okay,
I hear
I'm gonna
nothing
give
but great things.
I'm gonna give everyone a spoiler alert. So if you haven't seen it and you really want to see it, and you don't, just pause for like just a little bit.
Okay, just pause.
Go ahead and wait for the next one because this one just cuts out like right at the end. It's like, wait, what?
Okay.
Oh man, I hate
Like
it when
it's
that
obviously
happens.
going to be a sequel.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You know what movie did that? This is so random that this is the movie. This if anything. Oh, no breaking news. If anything, this just speaks to how little movies I watched. Hunger Games, the second Hunger Games did that, and I saw that in theater. I was so upset. I've never been so upset in my life. I was just like, I just waste, like, essentially you waste 2.5 of my hours to just tell me, yeah, you need to go see the third movie.
Fast X ends the same way. Like it's obviously something going to happen.
Yeah.
And then it just goes credits. And I went to the 9:30 showing, so it's midnight.
Oh.
And I am furious. I'm like, I need more.
Are you fast and furious?
I am like, I need more of this. Like, why is it stopping here? Keep going.
You see, I was gonna go see Fast X in theaters, and I heard the reviews, and I was like, you know what? I'll wait. I'll just wait.
See, I think that might have helped it. I did see a lot of bad reviews on it.
Yeah.
I liked it. Like, is it the best one?
It's
No.
a Fast and Furious movie. Like,
exactly.
what are you expecting?
Yeah,
Martin
it's-
Scorsese?
Oh,
like,
man, and what's his name? The villain.
oh, Hobbs?
No.
See, I have no idea. What I'm talking about.
Aquaman.
Momoa.
Momoa. He is the best villain they've ever had.
Really?
In a Fast and Furious movie.
You're kidding.
That feels like
The
high
best.
praise.
Like, well, the villain never really gets like
Yeah, it never gets a prominent role
Yeah.
for sure. Or
He
like
is
actual character
the
development or
best
anything.
one.
I don't know. Jason Statham was pretty good.
Is that Hobbs or is that Shaw?
See, I'm not counting the ones that are bad guys, but then become friends in the next one.
Oh, okay.
Gotcha. Okay. Familia.
Oh, so you mean The Rock?
The Rock,
The Rock.
Jason Statham,
Yeah.
John Cena.
That's right.
Cena. I
That's
forgot
right.
about John Cena. Makes sense.
When they sold him on he's the brother of Shaw, I was like, okay, they're just reaching now. They're just reaching.
That's doing a lot of heavy lifting. So yeah, I mean, coming in out of that break, we were I mentioned the Phoenix Suns and their move for Bradley Beal, which still is not completed. I believe they're still trying to figure out where they want to land Chris Paul and all of that. But they do not seem to care at all about the new CBA or any of the new tax aprons or any hindrance that's going to have to building your team. I'm just curious because I don't think we've gotten your thoughts. What were your thoughts on the Beal move to Phoenix and also the potential move to Sacramento, I guess, as well?
Thank God he's not in Sacramento. Thank you, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I mean, I just didn't want to root for Bradley Beal. I knew. Look, I like Beal as a player. What he does and what he can bring, awesome. He just doesn't fit the Kings system. One bit.
Yeah.
You want to see some stagnant offense? Watch Bradley Beal play basketball the last couple of years. I mean, this is a low efficiency guy, especially coming off when he won the scoring title, I believe in 1920.
Yeah.
I think.
He averaged 30 points per game 2 straight seasons,
Bradley
which
Beal
speaks to how much he had the ball in his
an
hands.
incredible scorer. But if you look at his usage rate, it's always in the 30s.
Yeah,
it's always too high. He's not touching the ball that much. And even,
not here in Sacramento,
even,
especially.
Yeah. Even then, it's like, do you really think Bradley Beal is going to take you guys to the next level? I don't. I just don't. Not with the team we have currently.
Yeah. And then to Phoenix, I can echo that as well. I just don't understand why for Phoenix they feel like this is a big enough move to really take them over the top. Like, my thing is, and I'm going to ask you a similar question when it comes to the Niners, but like, how did this move help them get over the Denver Nuggets hurdle? I don't understand how bringing in Bradley Beal was what they felt like they needed to do to win the West. It just that part doesn't make sense.
They're just going to try and outscore everybody.
I guess, right? And like, I don't know
what they're trying to do. They're trying to be the Kings of last season.
Boy, oh boy. Isn't that something?
No defense, but all the offense.
Yeah, I mean, and they, they'll have a shot to do it because I mean, with Booker, Beal, and Kevin Durant, especially like the last 5 minutes of any close game, it's gonna be a tough one to close out if you're the opposing team. Like, sure, they can't play great defense, but I also think there's still the Ayton piece that they can do something with. But
they're trading Ayton.
They're absolutely.
I'm telling you right now, they're trading.
They
Ayton.
have to. No, they almost have to at this point.
I've heard
in order
reports
to get
that
other pieces.
The market's so bad they might just keep him. Someone's gonna step in and trade for him. I think.
If anyone offers any sort of, if you give them, especially, I think at this point they just need usable bodies.
They need depth.
Think they would much rather take. They might not take a high end talent, but they'll take some real legitimate depth for Ayton over sticking it out. In my opinion,
I would watch out for the Knicks.
Really? Yeah.
Like getting back Mitchell Robinson and another piece or two.
Yeah.
That does the contract well with Ayton, and it gives New York. Ayton again is 25 years old, and he's a double averager.
First pick in the draft a couple years ago.
Look, he has talent.
Incredibly efficient.
Efficient. Yeah. It's just what the Suns want from him is not the role that he's designed to do.
No, and especially not with Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and Bradley Beal. Like that, you essentially just need DeAndre Ayton to be a garbage man at that point, and that's not his game at all.
Ayton's going to be that Thomas Bryant meme when LeBron broke the scoring title.
Where he's begging for the ball as KD
and
is pulling up for like the shot that you probably actually want.
Exactly. Yeah. It's just him and Cameron Payne are going to be so sad.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting situation to see how they end up building that team, and that obviously leads to hopeful success for the Sacramento Kings as the Phoenix Suns were one of the better teams in the Pacific Division, and now it's looking like the Pacific Division is kind of the Kings for the taking as Phoenix has all of their questions. Golden State, Draymond just opted out of his deal. The Lakers still have to fill out an entire roster. And then I'm forgetting the Clippers, of course, who are just who knows what they're going to do with all of that
Especially if Paul George gets moved.
And we'll talk about that coming up on the other side of the break. You are listening to Kris and Company right here on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
Catch the Oakland A's every weekend on Sactown Sports. Friday nights, Saturdays, and Sundays.
Sinking, that's going to get down for a hit. Around third to score is Tony Kemp. And the A's have taken the lead. Edge of the track makes the catch. And the Athletics get a great win.
Sactown Sports, your weekend home for the Oakland A's.
Sactown Sports coverage of the Oakland A's is brought to you by Xfinity 10G, the next generation network.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Valley Strong Credit Union.
I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. Your Wednesday is here. It's also officially the first day of summer. Today comes in a little warmer than yesterday, but still below the average. Expect highs in the mid-80s with lows in the 50s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
At Valley Strong Credit Union, we know that local businesses are the backbone of the Central Valley. Valley businesses deserve Valley support for payroll, credit, capital, and everything in between. Learn about all the benefits of being a business banking member at valleystrong.com.
When you take the time to shop at Folsom Lake Honda, there's one thing you'll always find. Happy people ready to serve you. As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our #1 priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too. Get an instant cash offer for your trade at FolsomLakeHonda.com. We'll buy your car whether you buy from us or not. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
Summer's here, and the deals are heating up at Fastener's Tool Outlet. You'll find scorching deals this Saturday on Makita Tools. Get 2 free batteries with the purchase of a circular saw kit and get $50 off any 40-volt tool kit. Fastener's Tool Outlet is turning up the heat on Makita summer savings this Saturday. Buy a 2-piece combo kit and get 2 extra free batteries. Come in to Fastener's Tool Outlet this week, 6701 Power Inn Road, or on the web at fastenersinc.net.
Did you know that money market accounts offer higher dividends than a traditional savings account, all while still being able to access your money at any time? Hey, Jason Ross here, and I want to tell you to step up your earning power with a Level Up money market savings account at Safe Credit Union. With competitive dividend rates, you can take your savings to the next level. Visit safecu.org/levelup for more information and to open up an account today. Insured by NCUA.
Okay, next time you're at the store, I dare you to not think about the unmistakable fresh, clean scent of Irish Spring. Yeah, you heard me. I want you to resist picturing a shower filled with those sensational Irish Spring suds. And if you succeed, well, you got what my gramps used to call resolutitude. Not a real word, but let's be honest, you're probably going to end up leaving with Irish Spring because of its irresistible scent and because you have zero resolutitude. Pick up Irish Spring today.
O'Reilly. Did you know 1 in 4 car batteries is weak and needs to be replaced? O'Reilly Auto Parts will test your battery for free. If your battery needs to be replaced, our professional parts people can help you find the right Superstart battery for your vehicle and budget. Don't wait. Get your battery tested for free today at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Oh, God, he's back.
Who's back?
The clown.
The naked one?
Yes, Giggles. He just drove on the lot in a new Kia.
Does he want to trade it in?
No, he wants to show it off.
Isn't he showing off enough? Oh, here he comes.
See what Elk Grove Kia did for me? That's service. That's why they got my business, not you.
Yeah, I think we've already seen too much of your business. Thank you.
Elk Grove Kia. Great service for everyone.
Elk Grove Kia has never made it easier for you to show it off. Like the hottest all-electric EV in the market, the luxurious EV6. Save big with lease specials of $10,000 below MSRP. Not just 1 or 2, but every EV6 in stock. Don't worry about credit. No credit, bad credit, charge-offs, repos. Don't worry. Our team has over 100 years of experience. Others say no. Elk Grove Kia says yes. Get your EV6 today at Elk Grove Kia in the Elk Grove Auto Mall or elkgrovekia.com and show it off today.
Elk Grove Kia.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
I'm Kris Murray with your Sactown Sports headlines. ESPN's Shams Charania says that the Boston Celtics, Washington Wizards, and LA Clippers are in strong talks on a trade that would send Kristaps Porzingis to Boston. Marcus Morris and draft compensation would go to Washington, and Malcolm Brogdon would be sent to the Los Angeles Clippers. Shams says that the sides are still working through the details and Porzingis' $36 million player option. Tomorrow is the NBA draft, where the Sacramento Kings have the 24th pick in the first round, as well as the 38th pick and the 54th pick in the second round. We will have you completely covered with tomorrow's draft, including a special draft show from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. with our very own Chris Watkins and Jason Ross. Sactown Sports NBA draft coverage is brought to you by Power Business Technology. Power Business Technology for all your business office equipment needs. Contact them at 844-POWER-BZ or go to powercopiers.com. Those are your headlines. Let's get back to Chris and company with Emil Fergoso.
Live and local, it's Chris and Company with Chris Watkins on Sactown Sports.
It is 12:29. That time check is brought to you by Capital Casino. Capital Casino, conveniently located on 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento. NBA draft is happening tomorrow. Lots of noise around the draft. Yeah, not that kind of noise. Definitely not that kind of noise. That noise might come out if something big happens tomorrow. Yeah. There's a lot of rumors and reports that maybe New Orleans is interested in moving up to 2 or 3. It seems like yesterday Woj reports that Charlotte, the Hornets, will be selecting Brandon Miller, it looks like, at the number 2 pick. We'll talk about that in just a second. But there's also, with that comes rumors of Zion being moved with all the off-the-court stuff going on as well. Brandon Ingram has been thrown in some of those trade talks. Will Damian Lillard get moved? What will Portland do at the number 3 pick? All of those questions are still up in the air as we are we're pretty significantly over 24 hours, probably like what is that? I think the draft's at 5 tomorrow. I'm really bad at math. 29 hours.
There you
is that
go.
right? 29 hours
Yeah.
away
28 and a half.
from the NBA draft. Emil Fergoso is joining me till the end of the hour. Emil has done tons of work on this NBA draft over at SactownSports.com. We were talking during the break a little bit about what's going on at that number 2 and number 3 spot. I mentioned Woj saying yesterday, coming out and saying that the Hornets seem to be locked in on selecting Brandon Miller at number 2. This morning, Mitch Kupchak, the Hornets GM, had a press conference and said that they will probably still wait on making an overall decision until tomorrow, but that decision will be made by one Michael Jeffrey Jordan, who is on his way out as the Hornets governor. None of that makes any sense. And I would also argue that them going with Brandon Miller at number 2 doesn't make any sense. What are your thoughts on the Miller versus Scoot debate with what New Orleans, it's specifically more with what Charlotte should do at number 2?
Are you ready?
I am ready because I also have some thoughts on this.
This is Jordan's final opportunity to screw over the franchise.
That's exactly what it feels like, right?
He's going to do it with Brandon Miller.
Yeah. I mean, so I have a tough time when having this conversation because it's the natural thing of like, it's hard to talk somebody up without talking the other guy down.
Yeah.
Where do you fall on Brandon Miller as a prospect? I haven't done too much research on him. I'm seeing a decent amount of I've done pretty surface level research on him. I've probably seen 3 or 4 games of him, and as well as some like draft profile videos. So I have a basic understanding, but to me, it's not even necessarily that Brandon Miller isn't going to be good. It's more just, I think Brandon Miller's peak is like a 2A, or I'm sorry, like a second option. And I think Scoot can be a bona fide number 1 if things work out well. How do you feel?
Brandon Miller is 5 times more likely to be a bust than Scoot Henderson is.
So yours is even based off of the floor as well.
I don't like his shot.
Interesting.
The
mechanics of it?
I don't like it. It's in his face. It's too low.
Interesting.
Like it should be a lot higher.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of in his face. And a lot of people love Brandon, the release and all this great stuff. Just hearing him talk in the interviews and hearing what's going on with the workouts, I don't like what I'm hearing. They had to bring him back to Charlotte for a second workout because he was not engaged in the first one.
Right. Yeah, no, I heard he went during this entire pre-draft process. He has been underwhelming in general to teams, and also there's reports that he's lost about 13 pounds because he was dealing with mono, and so he was sick, and also just lost tons of weight and muscle. And I mean
he's already skinny as it is.
Exactly.
I mean he's in the BI Paul George build, and I get it. Look, I get why Brandon Miller is this high of a prospect. I understand it.
Yeah.
The thing is though is that even BI Paul George, how good are they actually right now? Like they're all-star players.
Yes, absolutely. I hear what you're saying. You're saying like in terms of like none of those guys are leading their teams to championships.
But if you're like the Hornets and you have a propensity to make bad draft selections.
Yes, they do.
And propensity to mess up your franchise continuously.
They do continue to do that.
Why would you take the bigger gamble here than because of fit? And this is the biggest issue that rebuilding teams run into is drafting for fit.
I agree.
At the top 3. If you suck, why are we trying to build around what already sucks?
Yes, exactly.
Seriously.
Yeah, and I understand that like there's the LaMelo Ball, and like LaMelo is their only piece that doesn't suck, and so if you explain it to me, I understand the surface level of LaMelo plays point guard, Scoot kind of plays point guard. We don't want them, not necessarily bumping heads in terms of personalities, but on the floor, we don't want it to be a your turn, my turn kind of thing and not have it sync up.
It's not that way though.
It's not. And usually, especially with guys who have the potential talent of Scoot, like great players end up figuring it out. Like you're not going to be a great player and then just be like, it didn't work out. Like the closest example we can give, and maybe people are screaming at their radios right now, is Tyrese Halliburton and De'Aaron.
Yeah.
But even then, like Tyrese is not the prospect Scoot is. Like Scoot is a lot more explosive of a player, but also a much higher ceiling. Even Tyrese showed flashes. Like there's reasons why people even to this day will say like Tyrese Halliburton I would much rather have gone with Tyrese Halliburton over De'Aaron Fox. I don't agree with that, but I just don't see, again, like what you're pointing out, I don't see why a bad team would be concerned about fit at all. To me, if you're a bad team and you're picking at the top of the draft, Go for the highest upside swing possible because that's going to be the most beneficial to you long term.
Charlotte thinks that Miller has the highest upside. I'm just telling you,
which is also true. Yeah, that's the part that
I do not. And here's the thing I have to say about this is that it's about with the draft, especially because there's always these rumors and workouts and people in press are in high rising, all that great stuff. It's about reading tea leaves,
right?
With everything going on. Who are all these other teams trying to trade up to get? Scoot, not Miller. Scoot.
Right.
Who has the Steph Curry cosign and is training at Stanford right now with Stephen Curry? Scoot.
Yeah.
Who in every single workout, people rave about his maturity, on and off the court.
Right.
He is a grown-up and a gym rat that's going to work himself to death to be your All-NBA player. They don't come around often, these guys.
I see no lies in anything you just said.
And everyone
I agree.
And everyone goes, his shot's not good. His shot's not good.
That's what Whitey says. He says Scoot can't shoot.
And I had a long conversation with Whitey about this too, because the 2 games I go back to, because Scoot was hurt a lot of last year. He had a disappointing year in the G League, the second year. He played against Victor Wembanyama in those 2 exhibition games in October.
Yes.
What did he do? He went right at him. There are 2 plays in particular. One play where he's going off a dribble at the top of the 3-point line, dribbles it between his legs and then around 2 defenders, and then takes it, scoop under Wemby, unable for him to block it. Then 2 plays later, looks at Wemby, gets him on ISO at the top of the key, does a dribble step back 3, nails it over him.
Yeah.
Wemby has an 8-foot wingspan.
It's tough to do.
It's tough
Not
to
many
do.
can people,
Not
especially
many
at the
will
age of 18.
The balls to go at the number 1 pick and
Yes.
say, no, I am that guy.
Right.
He keeps saying, Scoot keeps saying.
He said it yesterday.
I am the number 1 guy.
Yes.
He keeps saying it. Wemby himself has given him his flowers.
Yeah.
In any other draft, Scoot's the number 1 guy.
I agree.
And I don't get it. And the issue is he undersized? He's 6'2". He measures 6'4" with shoes.
He's good.
He's fine.
He's all
and he's
good.
built like a linebacker.
He is. He's
huge.
He looks like Anthony Edwards. Like he literally looks like Anthony Edwards, just a little bit smaller.
He's a mix of Ant, Ja, Derek, Russell. All those guys combined, this is what Scoot is.
Shades of all of them. And,
All of them.
That's the thing. Like I've when me and Whitey have talked about it in the past, I tell him that essentially is that there's other guys who can't shoot, especially as prospects, and doesn't hinder them from being great. Like, I mean, you look at the guys you just listed. I mean, Russell Westbrook never developed a shot. His athleticism was so ridiculous that it didn't matter. Ja Morant is a perfect example of somebody who still really struggles to find a shot, but he's just so explosive. Zion Williamson is another guy, obviously completely different frame, but similar kind of game where it's just about using their explosive ability to get to the rim. And I'm sure, the devil's advocate would be, sure, yeah, that's great. But even you can use your own example as a counter.
Yeah.
Look at Derrick Rose. It's great for 4, 5, 6, 7 years. But what happens once that injury happens and once they go down? Can Scoot be that guy? Well, at least Brandon Miller has shooting to fall back on. Saying that, I don't believe that.
It's
tough. I mean, it's
the biggest thing with Scoot is that guys like him, they don't come around a lot.
Very true.
And guys, again, the shot issue, whatever, great players find a way to make it work.
They do.
And Scoot's one of those guys that will continuously work his butt off to have an outside shot. Yeah. It may not be the first year, it may not be the second year, but by the 3rd year,
he's
he'll be
figure it out. Yeah.
Look at John Morant. He had the 3-point thing issue, right? He made 3s in the playoffs this year against the Lakers.
Yep. Even De'Aaron Fox.
Yeah.
I mean, De'Aaron's not a great and even like
great players
they
find
don't
a
miss
way.
Every shot.
No.
Like they'll make 30% and it won't be great, but it'll be supplemental to what they do around the rim.
We talk about Paulo and his versatility and his range. Paulo shot 29% from 3 this year.
Doesn't shoot 3s.
He's not a great 3-point shooter in terms of efficiency this year. That's going to just get better because the great players continually work and they work and they work.
Right.
And you want one of those to change your franchise.
No, and Scoot seems like he's one of those guys. I mean, he's been in the G League Ignite program now for 2 seasons. And like you mentioned, like I've heard the same. I've heard nothing but good things, actually great things about his work ethic, his maturity, just how he approaches the game. Like you said, I've heard the direct quote of, he's going to work himself into being a star.
Yes.
Like that's the kind of guy that Scoot Henderson is. I just don't understand how you can have a guy like that with the physical profile, with the athletic abilities that he has, and just skip on it for a guy who can be a 3-and-D guy, hopefully.
Did you hear Brandon Miller's quote this morning?
I did. I have heard who his GOAT is.
Brandon Miller was asked, and he wasn't even asked directly who his GOAT is. He was asked, is the GOAT over competition overblown between Jordan and LeBron? He goes, honestly, LeBron's not my GOAT. He goes, Paul George is my GOAT.
Yeah, that's kind of insane.
Man.
Not even kind of.
That's alarming.
Lunacy.
Like as alarming as possible, because Paul George might get traded for some really low compensation here. He hasn't been healthy for how many years?
Yeah. And again, Kris said this earlier when we talked about it. It's one thing to say, like, I can live with he's my favorite player, or like, again, I really model my game after Paul George, or even, Keegan last year would say the same about Chris Middleton. Like, I really admire his game. Whole nother thing to say Chris Middleton, or in this case, Paul George, is the greatest of all time in your eyes. I mean, that's just ridiculous.
He seems, when I listen to him talk, compared to Scoot, he seems disingenuous.
Interesting.
He seems like he's phoning it in.
Yeah.
Like the whole thing about him not being engaged in workouts, it feels like he's not engaged half the time in the interviews.
Yeah.
Like I just feel like he moves around the questions. Maybe that's because of the ongoing investigation in Alabama and all that stuff. He's got a lot in his mind right now. He's come back from mono. I didn't even realize he'd come back from mono.
Yeah.
Which is that's serious.
I mean, it is serious. Absolutely. I mean, they said he lost 13 pounds, but I've also heard as well, like you have, that he's just not impressing at workouts, and that can definitely have something to do with it. But I just, again, I think that when you have a guy who's got the build of Scoot and all the athletic ability that he's got, which is all of it in the world. I mean, there's really nothing on the basketball floor around the rim athletically he can't do, and also the defensive upside as well. I can't. If Scoot, I would not be able to sleep if I'm a Hornets fan and we skip on Scoot.
If Scoot was the same position as Brandon Miller, no question.
No question.
No question
not even
whatsoever.
Yeah.
But because he's a guard, people are like, there's so many in the league, we got to find this type. Yeah. And that's just where people fall and miss here.
And also to the Hornets point, or not to the Hornets point, but to wrap it up, like LaMelo Ball's 6'7". Like he can play off ball.
40% on catch and shoot threes.
Was really good in catch and shoot threes. And again, I think it would be very beneficial if LaMelo learns how to play off ball, because at some point he's going to have to play with another star.
He needs a grown up there.
Absolutely.
And Scoot's a grown up.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it would be really good for him. And just as a team, it'd be a really good core to have. But it seems like one Michael Jeffrey Jordan is going to mess this thing up one last time.
Yep.
Well, we got one more segment here. We're probably going to talk some 49ers. We should probably talk some 49ers here. We'll get back to that with Emil Fergoso right here on Kris and Company, Sactown Sports, SactownSports.com.
Sactown Sports is your source for the 49ers.
Oh, it was awful. It was awful.
Did that leave a bitter taste in your mouth?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Me and Cal had a long meeting the other day. We watched tape. We talked about it. We put it behind us, and just going through the tape and just look how sluggish and like how bad it looked on tape. Like I said, just reflecting on last offseason, it kind of played a big role in that. I'll never put nothing like that back on tape again.
Tune into Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com for the latest 49ers offseason developments.
What's up? We're talking to Chad Hoblet, Hoblet Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Woodland. It's Ram season, Chad. What's going on at Hoblet?
We have some of the biggest savings of the year on new 2023 Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cab 4x4s with over $11,000 off MSRP. Or if you're worried about interest rates going up, save $6,000 off MSRP plus get financing as low as 2.9% for 72 months. And remember, Hoblet is California's #1 Ram truck dealer and has the best selection and deals on HD Rams too.
Hey, that's some pretty great savings, but why drive all the way to Hoblet?
We have no surprise fees, add-ons, or dealer markups, just savings. One of the many reasons we received the Walter P. Chrysler Award for outstanding customer service for 3 years in a row now. Plus, with Hoblet's peace of mind guarantee, you can buy with confidence.
Stop by their Hoblet Ram Truck Center for a test drive today, or search, select, and save through the whole inventory at HobletDodge.com. Best prices, best selection, period.
11,000 total net savings after 5091 factory rebates and 6,000 dealer discounts. 5091 factory rebates in lieu of 2.9% APR for 72 months on approved credit through Chrysler Capital. Must have 700 plus FICO score to qualify. 1516 per thousand borrowed. 5H net savings. Simple VIN 622619.
Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance. For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-330-1991. That's 1-800-330-1991. Or go to SelectQuote.com. That's 1-800-330-1991. SelectQuote. We shop, you save. Full details on example policies at selectquote.com/commercials.
If your passion is bass fishing, only one radio show has the action, information, and excitement of your favorite outdoor sport. Ultimate Bass, hosted by Tournament Bass Pro and California Outdoor Hall of Famer Kent Brown, takes you live to where the fish are biting every Saturday morning. Only Ultimate Bass feeds your passion with the latest news, products, tips, and advice from the pros. Ultimate Bass with Kent Brown, Saturday mornings at 5 a.m. on Sactown Sports 1140, part of SEP's Saturday Morning Outdoors.
At Elk Grove Honda, we see every Honda buyer as a member of the family, so we make sure every certified pre-owned Honda is one we would buy from ourselves. At Elk Grove Honda, we include many benefits that a private seller just can't match. Our Honda-trained technicians only certify our Hondas if they pass a thorough 182-point inspection, and our certified pre-owned Hondas are under 5 years old. So you know you're getting the newest Hondas in prime condition. See our exceptional selection of certified pre-owned Hondas in the Elk Grove Auto Mall or online at elkgrovehonda.com.
I gotta get an Elk Grove Honda.
The City of Sacramento offers rebates to help with your outdoor water-saving projects this season. Rebates are available for landscape conversions, smart controllers, and irrigation upgrades that improve your water efficiency. Learn more at sacwaterwise.com.
Live and local, it's Kris and Company with Chris Watkins on Sactown Sports.
Kris and Company, final 15 minutes with my guy Emil Fergoso, San Francisco 49ers insider, as well as a great contributor to the Sactown Sports website, especially with all this NBA draft coverage coming up. You know what, before we get into the Niners, let's talk about the Kings angle on this draft, because again, you've done a lot of work, more in terms of general NBA draft, but I know you definitely have some Sacramento Kings specific thoughts. Who are some guys that are on your radar for the Kings? It doesn't necessarily just have to be at 24, but just that you would like to maybe see them bring in at any of their picks.
Guys they're looking for people. This is a team that actually needs people who fit the scheme.
Yes.
This is not the Kings of old. We're not drafting just for talent.
No, we're not going highest upside possible.
We're drafting for scheme here, okay?
Mm-hmm.
We need
positional fits.
We need defensive wings.
Mm-hmm.
We got to get some more defense. We got to get some more switchable defense, some more stuff that Mike Brown can use. You know, Trey Lyles was great in his role. Keegan Murray's working on it. We got to find guys who can really play some defense.
No, for sure.
And guys like Marquette's Ovier, Maxime Prosper.
Dude,
I like him.
I keep feeling every time we talk about we just call him Omax. That's from what I've seen on the I just feel so bad for Scott Moak if we take Omax Prosper, because that's just a mouthful. I mean, Oliver Maxence Prosper?
Olivier.
Olivier, is it really?
Olivier, yeah.
Like Giroux? Like Olivier Giroux?
That's how it's Olivier. Olivier.
Oh, so it's not Oliver. Okay, well, there you go.
Olivier.
There you go. That's why we're just calling him Omax.
Yeah.
So Omax, I mean, I'm right there with you too. I mean, he's like a big, versatile, strong guy who's going to be incredible defensively, I think, coming into the league for sure.
But if we're looking at other guys with the later pick, the number 38, I believe.
Yeah, 38 and 54.
38 and 54. 38. If he's still there, how about another G League Ignite guy, City Sissoko?
Yeah.
City plays a similar thing that what Omax does, but he has a little more 3-and-D than Omax.
Yeah,
a little bit more, and I kind of like what the people are doing in G League right now.
No, and I've heard a lot of CD Sissoko is allegedly rising up draft boards pretty fast, so he might not even be available there at 24, but who knows? I mean, because initially he was mocked like in that late first, early second pick. That's definitely somebody that I've been looking out for. Is there anybody that you feel like could potentially be a massive riser tomorrow that we might not see coming? Like, you got anybody that's the apple of your eye?
This is my draft crush.
Oh boy,
this is my I wish the Kings would trade up and go get him. Guy.
Okay.
Bilal Coulibaly.
Really?
Is my guy.
A lot of people are very high on Coulibaly.
Look, it's a hot take. He reminds me of a younger Giannis.
Really?
Just the way he moves.
His arms as well, right?
7'3" wingspan at 6'7", 6'8". You got to think about a story, okay? I don't know if you know the whole story with him. Is that Bilal Coulibaly started the season with Mets 92, which is Victor Wembanyama's team, on the scout team, on the B team.
Really?
He started the year on the B team.
Yeah.
Played so well, he was able to eventually join the senior team and play for them. This is a team filled with former NBA players and, journeyman basketball, like grown-up players, and Victor Wembanyama. Eventually, he played so well by the end of the season, he was starting, and is a big reason why they made the LNB Pro A finals.
Wow.
He is a big reason.
Yeah. So he's just getting better. He's peaking at the right time.
18 point, he'll be 19 a month after the draft.
Yeah.
He's only getting better. He might be growing still, frankly.
Yeah, that's incredible. 6'7" with 7'3" wingspan, that doesn't equal up.
His defense is excellent. His feel for the game, like when he runs in transition, he looks like a gazelle.
Yeah.
Like he's so quick and versatile and has like these moves that you don't see, like a good, nice Euro step, a little bit of spin.
Love that.
His shot looks actually pretty good. While his numbers aren't great right now, his form looks good. That's in
step one.
And that's half the battle.
Yeah,
right there.
Absolutely. 100%.
So Bilal Coulibaly, I wouldn't be surprised to see. I've seen Utah at 9 taking Bilal Coulibaly.
That's incredible.
He's a big swing, but a guy who could be that all versatile defensive.
This is what I keep telling people too, is like at 24, you have no idea who will be there at 20. Like you can try and guess, but realistically, if you're Monty McNair and Wes Wilcox, you have to have like 5 or 6 guys that are kind of on your big board in terms of like, all right, like there's a good chance 3 of these guys aren't going to be here and maybe 2 are. It's so tough because anything can happen. The amount of times that we've seen guys who just aren't Thon Maker randomly gets into the top 10. There's so many years where it's just like, where did this even come from? People get late stock rises, and
Jerome Robinson
was a big one, right? I forgot about that one to the Clippers. I guess on the other end of that spectrum, do you see anybody that you see falling, or just someone in general that seems to be high on draft boards that you're not as keen on?
One of the guards, there's a lot of guards in the teams.
Guards,
like guys like Nick Smith Jr. could fall into the 20s.
Right.
Guys like, I don't think Kobe Buffkin should, but he might fall into the 20s. G.G. Jackson out of South Carolina.
That's a big one, yeah.
His attitude's not. He's
off the floor.
He's been promised, I believe, a team somewhere in that 20 range, but I could see him falling out because of the attitudes and the skipping workout.
Yeah, I heard his workouts were interesting to say the least.
Yes.
G.G. Jackson, I think, is the youngest person in this draft. So
18.5 is what the draft age is, I believe.
Wow. So he's an interesting prospect to swing on. Before we get you out of here, I do want to talk just a little bit about the 49ers. And I mentioned earlier about the Phoenix Suns and how I don't understand how the Bradley Beal move made them any closer to beating the Denver Nuggets. I'm just curious how you feel about the 49ers' chances this year in terms of beating the Eagles, because I think, to me, the Eagles are the big bad out there in the NFC. I think they're, at least on paper, to me, I think that they're the best team in the NFC, with maybe the Cowboys even being a close second. I really like the Cowboys roster. What do you feel like the Niners have done differently this offseason? Obviously, bringing in Hargrave, a full season of McCaffrey. How do you feel like the Niners now stack up against the Philadelphia Eagles, who, in my opinion, are the team that they have to get through in order to get to the top of the mountain?
They're swinging for the fences this year with the people they have signed, and we'll see if they hit a home run, or we'll see if they, hit a fly out. There's only one or two options. There's no in between. It's either a home run, they're getting the Super Bowl, they might be winning a Super Bowl, or it's a fly out where they're a first round exit, or might not even make the playoffs because of how top heavy they are, especially with Javon Hargrave.
Right.
Javon Hargrave was a former Philadelphia Eagle run stopper. He wreaked havoc in the NFC Championship game, and what they do, go out and sign the rival, which is crazy business in this day and age, especially for the Niners, who are cap struck as they are. I like Javon a lot. I really do. I think he's going to be a huge addition for them. It just really comes down to, are they going to get consistent play out of the quarterbacks?
Yeah.
Are they going to be consistent enough?
Big question.
To lead, because they have to score. They can't just play defense. We learned that last year.
Yeah.
They can
gotta put up points. Yeah.
Eventually, the defense wears out as the season goes on. Eventually, they have lapses. It happens. And with the offense, is it going to be Purdy? Is it going to be Darnold? Is it going to be Lance? Someone has to step up. It's not Brandon. It's not Brandon Allen. Let's do this right now. Just give me this. He's like a stroke on air. It's not Brandon Allen. Anyway, one of those 3 quarterbacks have to step up, and they have to play consistent. If that happens, the sky's the limit. If not, they could miss the playoffs. It's really the reality.
Give me 30 seconds or less. I know you're a Raider. At one point, we're supportive of the Raiders. How are you feeling about what the Raiders did this offseason? And what is the hope? Like, realistically, what is the hope for the Raiders this year? Is it 500?
The hope is.
I guess you can't go 500 anymore.
But. The hope starts before the season starts. If Jimmy Garoppolo cannot pass his physical, we can cut him.
Yeah, you might not have a quarterback.
That is the whole hope.
Is it Aiden O'Connell?
Aiden O'Connell or Brian Hoyer. And you know what that means? We suck.
It means the
and we go
Raiders
get
are
Caleb Williams. And I move on with my life.
And you know what? That's fine. That might be an okay. It might suck for a year, but at least you get
watch the Raiders
Williams.
at all this season. Yeah. They're just going to be bad. It's going to be great because of Jimmy Garoppolo. They're going to try and be competitive, and they're just not going to be.
No, it's not going to happen.
Not going to happen.
I wish it was, and I have a lot of Raider fans in my life that I want to see them be happy. But
do you?
I do, because at this point, I really feel it is a level of sympathy where I just kind of feel bad for them, and I'm like, you guys are just so passionate, and you love the team so much that it's just like
best fan base in the NFL.
Absolutely, like I absolutely one of the best in the NFL for sure. Emil, thank you so much for hopping on. I know it was short notice. I know you got a full day, but it's all hands on deck today, so we appreciate it.
Pleasure to be here.
Thank you, Emil. Jason Ross will be closing down this show for the last hour with me right here on Kris and Company, Sactown Sports, 1140 SactownSports.com.
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
Every week, getting to talk to Kenneth Cornelius Thomas.
Oh my God, he busts out the whole name.
Hey, come on.
Special show. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I'm looking forward to coming back next year. Hopefully, we can keep this going.
Yeah.
I enjoyed being on here with the nothing, dude. Don't make me reach through this phone, man.
You're in New Mexico. I can talk garbage.
Hey, I know where you live. I'll find out.
The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross. Weekday mornings from 6 to 10 on Sactown Sports.
All new spring deals are here at Lowe's. Start planting your garden this weekend with Bonnie 11.8-ounce vegetables. Buy 4 for $10. Plus, liven up your patios and decks with fresh blooms. Select 1.5-gallon hanging baskets or 2 for $20. Lowe's knows spring. Lowe's knows home improvement. Offers valid through 5/17. In-store only. Actual plant size and selection varies by location. While supplies last, excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave, and I recognize, just like my friends at American Energy Heat and Air, that your time is important. And that's why shopping for a new air conditioner is now easier with American Energy Heat and Air's online quoting tool. All you have to do is go to AmericanEnergyAir.com and get an instant quote right now. It'll help you determine what system you're going to need to get. It'll provide the best pricing options, all from the comfort of your home without having to have somebody come to your home. You know how annoying that is? They come in and everybody there is so sweet and nice, but how much better is it to be able to get it on demand? Visit AmericanEnergyAir.com. Check out how easy it can be. Or if you want to give them a call and talk through what your needs are, 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Since 1776, July 4th has been celebrated as the birth of American independence, but it's been a federal holiday only since 1941. Hi, this is Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. It was a mere 7 years later when the Keys family opened their first Naturewood store in Sacramento, and I guess Northern Californians have been celebrating ever since. We celebrate an incredible selection of furniture brands made right here in America. We celebrate the kind of generous hometown hospitality that was important to Walter Keys in 1948 and continues with the Keys family and the Naturewood Home Furnishing staff today. And we celebrate the kind of quality that's been synonymous with Naturewood for all these 74 years. Look for made-in-America brands like Stanton, Sam Moore, Stickley, Hilltop Hickory, Simply Amish, and more during the Naturewood 4th of July sale event. Find the furniture that you will celebrate for years to come. Naturewood Home Furnishings, off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
When you take the time to shop at Folsom Lake Honda, there's one thing you'll always find: happy people ready to serve you. As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our #1 priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too. Get an instant cash offer for your trade at FolsomLakeHonda.com. We'll buy your car whether you buy from us or not. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
You could throw your flip-flop at a bug.
Ew, a bug, get it.
But the chances of actually hitting it
over there
are statistically,
it's still alive.
Unlikely. Good thing nature's got your back. Stem bug killers combine powerful active ingredients found in plants like lemongrass and geraniol and scientifically engineer them into effective bug-fighting formulas, safe for use as directed around people, pets, and throughout the home. Stem, rooted in nature, optimized by science.
Summer's here and the deals are heating up at Fastener's Tool Outlet. You'll find scorching deals this Saturday on Makita Tools. Get 2 free batteries with the purchase of a circular saw kit and get $50 off any 40-volt tool kit. Fastener's Tool Outlet is turning up the heat on Makita summer savings this Saturday. Buy a 2-piece combo kit and get 2 extra free batteries. Come in to Fastener's Tool Outlet this week, 6701 Power Inn Road, or on the web at fastenersinc.net.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, your flagship station for the Beam team.
Should we light the beam? Light the beam, baby.
Sactown Sports. Sactown Sports.
Headlines. I'm Chris Verlotta with your Sactown Sports headlines. ESPN's Shams Charania says that the Boston Celtics, Washington Wizards, and LA Clippers are in strong talks on a trade that would send Kristaps Porzingis to Boston. Marcus Morris and draft compensation would go to Washington, and Malcolm Brogdon would be sent to the Los Angeles Clippers. Shams says the sides are still working through the details and Porzingis' $36 million player option. Tomorrow is the NBA draft. The Sacramento Kings have the 24th pick in the first round, as well as the 38th pick and the 54th pick in the second round. We will have you completely covered with tomorrow's draft, including a special draft show from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. with our very own Chris Watkins and Jason Ross. Sactown Sports NBA draft coverage is brought to you by Power Business Technology. Power Business Technology for all your business office equipment needs. Contact them at 844-POWER-BZ or go to powercopiers.com. Those are your headlines. Let's get to the final hour of Chris and Company with Chris Watkins and wait, what? Jason Ross.
Sitting at your desk, watch Chris and Company now. YouTube.com/Sactown Sports 1140.
Chris and Company, final hour here. Thank you to all the co's today. True Chris and Co. This is like the first actual time it feels like we're aptly named Chris and Company, because there's truly tons of company today. Jay Mars, first hour. Frankie Cardicelli, second hour. Emil Fergoso, you just heard him in the third hour. Now, finishing up the show, we call in the closer. Send in are you right-handed, right?
I could throw both
I'm
ways.
sure you could.
Yeah.
Jason Ross, the best to ever do it. Jason Ross is joining me for the final hour of today's show.
So you've been lying to everybody about this Chris and Co. thing. Us here at Sactown Sports.
Yeah.
Now today is
today is actually
a wire.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's not my fault. I just do what I'm told, and
your name's on the show.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. You can hear me and Jason Ross on tomorrow. Yes, not during our typical time slots. We will have fill-ins for the morning and for the afternoon, but me and Jason will be holding it down for a live NBA draft show right here on Sactown Sports 1140. That will be from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Right here again on Sactown Sports. I assume also on the YouTube channel as well.
Yeah, let's do it.
All of our NBA draft coverage is brought to you by Power Business Technology. For all your business office equipment needs, contact them at 844-POWER-BZ or go to powercopiers.com.
We better be on YouTube tomorrow, Chris, because I'm going through hair and makeup and the normal routine. So
you're going in hair
and makeup.
You are.
And makeup. Hey, I put the fake
There's
stuff
hair
in.
there.
It's fake, but I put it in.
No,
that's hair and makeup. That's
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the beauty of it.
Yeah, we'll be looking good tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly.
We will have our draft.
Actually,
What's
you
your
look
draft
really
suit going to
clean.
be? You're going to go. Thank you. I know. I just got to cut yesterday.
You
go like baggy, or you're going to go like the new?
Through. Are we back to baggy yet, or we're not quite there?
I guess we're going to find out tomorrow, but I think we're still in like very tight fashion. I think we're past like the very expressive colorways. I felt like there was a couple years where guys were really adventurous with their draft suit colors. And then even now, I think still it's a thing to like put some sort of messaging on the inside. But
it was LeBron's 03 that was like the suit? Isn't that the picture
iconic,
where everybody's on and then it's like, are they wearing tents?
Yes.
Or
balloons.
Balloons. Yes. Absolute balloons.
So that's 20. I mean, they should have cycled back or closer to. Like, I know pants got really tight again recently.
Yes,
I say recently, but maybe it's
A lot of ankles being shown.
Yeah.
That
could still be a thing.
I think so. I think
Tennis shoes or suits or like.
You know what I'm thinking? A lot of floral panel patterns.
Yes. That's definitely like a new thing as well. Yeah, a lot of floral patterns on suits. I don't know. I'm very traditional in that. I'm just like, show up in a nice, slick, nothing on it, no distraction, just a good looking suit.
No, I want all distractions.
Who was it? Samaki Walker had like the top hat and a cane or whatever it was.
What?
Okay, that was too much.
Yeah, that's a little bit much.
And
You can't look like the Monopoly man.
You have one day, and so it's gonna get dated. But like, okay, if you're wearing a classic suit of that time, it's like, all right, well, yeah, you look younger. Suit's a little weird, but it's not. You wore that.
Yeah, that's true. I guess that's really the key is you just don't want to be remembered for like something that's just absolutely ridiculous looking. Like, and I guess I can't really think of any that come to the top of my mind. You know what has been a new trend? And I think if I'm not mistaken, Paolo Banchero last year had it, the chains. Like people will wear these suits, but have like 6 chains and one will have a huge pendant that says like, whatever. Wemby or something, Depog or something. Chain. That'd be great. Yeah, whoever we take
future MVP,
all that.
Who was it? It wasn't that long ago. Maybe it was, dating myself here on years, but I felt like LeBron just a couple years ago, and maybe it might have been in the bubble, maybe not, but he was wearing like a suit but had shorts.
Oh yes, yeah, that was LeBron.
And that was for a little while, and then it's like, what if someone
was with?
I want to say it was Cleveland. I want to say he was hurt. And like it was when he was just like wearing random.
Didn't he get them for the entire team?
He might have, but you could picture that. Like that wouldn't. It would feel outlandish today, and then you go 20 years. Like, what are you doing, man? They all have.
What's the most outlandish that you've seen of LeBron? Is it the shorts, or is it the purse saying "Do better"?
I don't remember the purse saying "Do better."
Oh yeah,
it's like a gift that's been around forever.
It's a satchel. Indiana Jones wore one.
Oh, yes. Okay. Yes. I'm sorry. Yes, that outfit was iconic. Yeah, where he's got the briefcase and he just walks out and he's like,
a briefcase.
Do better tomorrow. Sorry. It's not a briefcase. It's a satchel. There's a difference.
I think if you...
Oh, that is a satchel.
I think right now it would be the accessories that it would be different. Like if you came up with some sort of different kind of hat or the chains like you're talking about. But I think if you're suited up, I mean, it's going to be trendy now. And then maybe later you go, I don't know why that was the trend, but that was the trend.
Goes. Yeah, exactly. That's how it goes. It's a moment in time. And I always appreciate somebody's going to come out looking absolutely. Someone's going to come out looking great and someone's going to absolutely just stick out.
Like, did you have, what was your gear for your senior portrait, let's say, all those years? So now that would feel dated, but what was it?
No, it was just a standard black and white. Yeah, just a black and white suit.
Okay. So you feel good. Like, do you feel if you see it today, you just go, okay, it's good. Timeless. 20 years from now, you feel good about it? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm also not a millionaire who can afford, really nice suits and something that's extravagant. But
what about the hairstyle?
I had completely short hair. I had a buzz cut.
I'm
going to go back to a buzz cut real soon. Yeah, Kris, what's your high school pictures looking like?
Nothing too. And then I short hair too. I didn't grow my hair out until I was like 30.
Yeah. How about the suit? Were you wearing a tuxedo or
tuxedo?
I think so. Yeah, that's what they have you wear.
Yeah, that's
for your senior portraits or like prom or whatever?
No, like senior portraits.
Oh yeah, no. We could wear whatever.
Yeah,
but I mean, I had
you got like a turtleneck on? Or
no,
something?
I honestly think I had a button-down shirt, a tie, and a blazer, and I had shorts on. Like it was just for the picture.
Rolled up sleeves.
Oh, sun's out, guns out. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I had just this what would look now like a toupee on.
Yeah,
just a full head
Jason
of hair.
Ross with hair is my favorite Jason Ross. I'm sorry, I like you now, but
wow,
Jason Ross with hair
is so mean.
No, that's not mean at all. Jason is
because he never had hair, so you never liked Jason.
Wow,
and he's out.
And, all right, I will be closing the show by myself here for the next
Kris
50
and
minutes.
NoCo.
Jason, well, the draft is tomorrow. And, the Kings have 24, 38, and 54 in that draft. How are you feeling about what the Kings can acquire with those picks? Are you looking for somebody who's just maybe going to be a rotation guy, or do you feel like you really want the Kings to potentially make a swing there?
I don't know, because that's been a common thing, or not a common thing, but like the thought is I wouldn't even begin to know who the swing is.
Yeah. I guess it would be a guy like Dariq Whitehead.
Like where they're maybe taking a risk seemingly to some on potential.
And maybe not a positional fit, like not an immediate next year. You could easily see, we'll just use Kris Murray as the big example. Kris Murray can instantly come in and give you 10 to 15 minutes in a game.
I feel like, to me, where the Kings are as a team and where they're drafting, it works in the same way for this. I feel like they need to go for a swing player. Swing in potential gold mine, or you didn't get it. You missed. I mean, because I don't think it will derail them that much in the short term.
Sure, right.
So I think their answers to filling the gaps of whatever they feel their need are in free agency.
Yeah.
Or some other way of addressing it as opposed to, or trades. But on the draft at 24, I mean, can you find Jimmy Butler? Can you find Jokic? Can you find, I mean, they've been there before. I don't know that they're in this draft, but it does happen. And it may not even show itself this year.
Right.
Or even next year, where you're just like, man, that guy turned out to be a great player.
Right.
As opposed to a safe pick that you're like, they're going to be in the rotation and they'll be in the top 9 and they'll play every game.
Maybe, though.
Maybe, and maybe not. Like, I don't know that they're even in a need for that. Like, they wouldn't turn it down, but is that player there? So that's why I still think they should explore trading.
I think so too. I think that, to me, that's the best option
to get better. Like, I'll be on next hour with Jay as well, and Jay Johnson. We talked yesterday, and we're going to kind of have this exercise later too. But we're both kind of in the mindset of like going for it, and whatever going for it means to you. But like,
some people that's Amani Bates, and some people that's Dariq Whitehead. Some people,
and not even maybe draft related. It's like go get,
just in general, be aggressive.
Jaylen Brown, go get what? I'm just throwing names out off the top of my head right now. Go get Chris Middleton. Go get whatever that is to you. But like, I feel like they're closer to that. And if they got, we addressed Zion yesterday. Is there any way they can get him? Probably not. But I think I would take that risk. Now, I might get fired if I'm GM and that doesn't work. I get it. And my job would be on the line, but I also go, you know what? I'm closer to a championship.
Swinging.
Closer to a championship. If that works the way it potentially could, something like that. Dame, whoever, Paul George, these names that I know you've been talking about too.
Yeah, no, you mentioned Paul George there. Let's pick it up on the other side of the break. Should the Kings go after a guy like Paul George? Should they go all in this offseason? We're going to talk about that next right here on Kris and Company with Jason Ross filling out the rest of this hour right here on Sactown Sports 1140 and SactownSports.com.
Get all the latest 49ers news heading into the 2023 season on Sactown Sports.
I think Brock was smart, and we kind of facilitated that he met with a bunch of different surgeons. The hope is he's ready for the regular season. We'll take it as it comes, as we're doing. He's working incredibly hard, and the early returns are really good.
Sactown Sports, Sacramento's official home for 49ers football.
Folsom Lake Ford has trucks. The F-150s are here. Explorers, Expeditions, and a huge selection of Broncos and Bronco Sports. They're in stock now at Folsom Lake Ford. Shop Folsom Lake Ford, your truck headquarters, right here in Sacramento for your favorite Ford models at good, fair prices. Short on cash? Buy any new Ford with zero down. Save big with low interest finance rates. Plus, Folsom Lake Ford is paying top dollar for all trades. We want your vehicle regardless of mileage or condition. This could be the best time to buy a new Ford. Check out the huge inventory online at FolsomLakeFord.com or stop by the dealership and see the most recent arrivals. Looking for something special? Give them a call and tell them Doug Christie sent you. Folsom Lake Ford in the Folsom Auto Mall, your trusted dealer, my trusted dealer for over 30 years. FolsomLakeFord.com.
Zero down with approved credit.
Keeping you company with the company. It's Kris and Company with Chris Watkins on Sactown Sports.
Your local sports leader.
Kris and Company winding down last 45 minutes here on the program. Jason Ross wrapping things up with me. He will be taking it the rest of the way from 2 to 6 with Jay Johnson. Excited for that.
And then we'll just, see what happens.
We're just gonna roll with it. We're just gonna roll with the punches. And today has definitely been a day where we just kind of let it fly a little bit. And it's I'd say it's gone pretty well today.
Yeah.
All things considered. Yeah. Absolutely.
I'm feeling good in here too, by the way. I love that you're watching the WNBA.
Yes, absolutely. I'm a huge WNBA fan. Yeah. Big supporter of the W. And it just feels like there's starting to get some momentum behind the W with the super teams and all that.
The play is ridiculous.
What's that?
The play is ridiculous. Now. How good it, like I thought it was incredible. Good when I was covering it all the time and working for the Monarchs and calling games, and it was really good. It's so much better.
I keep telling people who, obviously there's always those machismo terrible guys out there who are like, I'm not going to watch it. It's inferior.
If it's not your thing, it's not your thing.
It's not your thing. But my thing,
check it out.
That's exactly it. I just watch a game. And if you want to know which game to watch, I'll let you know which game to watch. But if you, the talent, like if you like basketball, there's no reason why you would not watch a WNBA game and just leave incredibly impressed and excited at the product. I just think it's a really good product. It's on during summer. There's nothing else going on. And especially come playoff time, the environment is incredible. The games are always really, really well contested. The league is absolutely on the up. And I just suggest that just give it a chance, guys. Just absolutely give it a chance because you're not going to be disappointed. There's players out there that are playing like your favorite NBA player as well. Like look at Arika Kumawale. She is like the closest thing to an NBA style point guard, like looking like Kyrie Irving, taking step backs. The game has improved so much and it's just gone with the times. The skill levels up there. Again, I just could not recommend the W.
Totally agree.
If we're going to be talking about women's sports,
absolutely.
Women's World Cup next month.
Yes, I saw that.
U.S. just announced their roster.
Really? I did not see that. Any surprises?
I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, okay. Well,
that's a surprise.
That is a surprise. That really is a surprise. I know that, they're bringing back all the greatest hits. I assume Julie Ertz I saw is going to be in there. I think Alex Morgan is still on the team.
Yeah, I saw Rapinoe and
Rapinoe. Wow.
Oh, another run at it.
Yeah, surprised to see Rapinoe going at it. And I've also seen the commercials for that as well. Really, really high level commercial of U.S. versus the world.
The only bad thing is going to be the times.
Oh, where is it? Where is the Women's World Cup?
New Zealand and Australia.
Geez. That's terrible. That's going to be like completely opposite, isn't it?
They play in the future.
It's going to be like 3 a.m.
You'll be up, Chris.
Yikes.
Let's see. There's like there's like a U.S. game at like 6 o'clock in the afternoon.
Really?
I think I'm looking at it right now. I'm like, is that right? Did they mean 6 a.m.?
Huh. That starts this summer, or is it next summer?
Next month.
Next month. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, look at that. Can't wait for that. That should be some good stuff. I mentioned me and Jay Ross will be doing NBA draft coverage tomorrow from 6 to 9 right here on Sactown Sports 1140. We got some news from the draft yesterday. Adrian Wojnarowski had this to say about what Charlotte plans to do with the number 2 pick in tomorrow's draft. Here's Woj.
Alabama's Brandon Miller further solidified his standing as Charlotte's choice at number 2 with a workout in meetings he had in Charlotte yesterday. This is the first time Michael Jordan, the outgoing majority owner in Charlotte, had a chance to watch Miller in person, to sit down and meet with him. And both Miller and Scoot Henderson came back to Charlotte for second workouts, second meetings. And I'm told Miller was better the second time around in that environment than he had been the first time. And certainly positionally, Miller's advantage over Scoot Henderson in Charlotte is that they've got a point guard in LaMelo Ball in Charlotte, they believe is a franchise level point guard. And right now, Brandon Miller continues to be the focus for the Hornets at number 2.
How about that, Jason Ross? It seems like tomorrow we've known for months now. I mean, the Spurs already celebrated at the lottery. Wemby's going number 1.
Yeah.
It was a question of what's going to happen with number 2. I'm sorry, I keep doing that. New Orleans Hornets. The Charlotte Hornets. Will the Charlotte Hornets go with Brandon Miller or Scoot Henderson? Sounds like they're going to go with Brandon Miller. How do you feel about the decision-making process of them going with positional need over? And, I'm sure that they also believe that Brandon Miller is the better of the 2 prospects, but it seems to be that the positional element of this might have been the thing that leaned them over the top for Brandon Miller. How do you feel about that decision?
I don't like it at all. If that's the decision,
Yes.
To me, if it's towards the Kings in this position, I'll relate it to everyone here. And the Kings were in this spot, and we heard Woj come out and say, from the Kings. They like Brandon Miller more because of positional. I would hope that Monty and Wes or whoever held the press conference say, we like Brandon Miller more. We liked him just regardless. Not position at this point shouldn't matter. That should not be the decision. I don't even think it should factor in and anything. There's a lot of examples of that in let's pick two great point guards. If the Warriors had Steph Curry and Dame was available, take Dame and you figure it out.
Yeah.
You have two of the best point guards in the league and you either keep them or you move one.
Mm-hmm.
When the Packers had Brett Favre, there's a Aaron Rodgers. They got two Hall of Fame quarterbacks. They eventually figured it out. You want talent.
It's a good problem to have.
Yeah. Now, if Miller is the answer, that's totally fine. And if you like him, I just, as a fan of Charlotte or any other team, I would not want to hear my GM say we did this because of positional need.
Right.
That's my preference.
It makes me think of, I mentioned this earlier, it makes me think of the Marvin Bagley decision.
Mm-hmm.
Again, not being afraid to take the ball out of De'Aaron Fox's hands. Well, sure, but that's also great if Marvin Bagley ends up working out. And so, to me, when guys like James Wiseman as well, again, the Warriors take James Wiseman instead of taking LaMelo Ball, and that's because of fit. There's tons of examples out there of teams doing it, and it never, or rarely at least, feels like it works. To me, kind of to your point, great players end up figuring it out.
Yeah, you draft for talent, in my opinion, and then free agency and trades to fill your needs or whatever else might accompany your team. So go back to the Bagley example you brought up, perfect one, because if that was the reasoning for the Kings, we heard part of that was, then maybe you think, well, later in our career, we'll be able to get Luka. How? Through free agency, through an overpay. One chance you had for him, for Jaren Jackson, for Trae Young, for whoever else you thought might have been comparable to Marvin Bagley, you had a chance at. And you chose Bagley, which, okay, you got it wrong, but if it was because we think he's truly the second best player, then you think he's truly the second best player.
Right.
But if you did it because, he's
they
close,
like the fit,
but the fit is better, you did it wrong.
That's how
more
I feel
times
too.
than not.
Yeah, more times. And again, there's other examples, sure, of maybe this working out for this exact reason, and maybe it ends up being the correct decision. I just don't like it as that being your process. I just feel like that's not how you should do it. And like you said, you should just go for the best talent available. And all indications, almost everybody universally I've heard, I think Kevin O'Connor was here and there on this, but for the most part, everyone agrees that Scoot Henderson has the higher ceiling, like has the higher upside.
Yeah.
And also you can just see it a lot easier. Like we see guys like Ja, guys like, Russell Westbrook, even De'Aaron is somebody who, just because they can't shoot, if you have that elite level of athleticism and certain level of explosiveness at the rim, more times than not, that's going to work out. I mean, the only guy I can think of who really had just incredible athleticism and didn't work out is like Dennis Smith Jr. But even then, he's not built the same way that Scoot is.
Yeah, and I'm sure there were calls made. I'm going to guess. I shouldn't say I'm sure they are, but there were reports, I don't know, Chris, a week or two ago that New Orleans really wanted in. They loved Scoot Henderson.
We're willing to move Zion or Brandon Ingram.
Charlotte, call him. Because if you could move back, or if you could get even a better player than Brandon Miller, a proven player. And I guess back to this kind of same exercise, let's imagine a fantasy world where the Nuggets had the number one pick.
Yep.
They're taking Wembanyama, right? Or right now fielding trades. It's like, no, we've got the best center in the world.
Right.
The reigning or 2 MVPs and finals MVP. We're either going to have this
insane
good luck guarding us, or no, we got to bring him in.
Yeah.
Sort it out. Maybe we move Jokic. I don't think they want to do that, but if Wembanyama's that good, or we move Wembanyama once we have him, or we move the pick before it happens, but not, you know what? We really like Scoot. We're going to take him one. No, I don't know. I think they're doing that wrong. Yeah. My personal belief.
And the reason why they're doing that wrong, I believe, is in large part because of the guy that they say will be making the decision. And that's Michael Jeffrey Jordan, who is on his way out as the governor of the Charlotte Hornets. And all indications, Mitch Kupchak had a press conference this morning saying, I think it's important to say that Mitch said that they haven't made a decision yet and hope to make the decision tomorrow, aren't going to decide before they actually make the pick. But B said that Michael Jordan will have the final say-so on who they take at number 2. What do you think about that? Michael Jordan on his way out, being the one to make that decision for Charlotte, and to say a checkered history of poor picks is putting it lightly.
Yeah, I don't love it. I don't love any of that. I don't even love, unless, like, I always now start to go down this road. Like, is there not the Jordan part, but getting the Brandon Miller information out there? Is there another motive behind that? Where, like, remember last year, it would have been right around this time. Then all of a sudden, the Vegas odds like flipped dramatically.
We were
like
certain
it was Jabari.
It was either going to be Jabari or Chet Holmgren.
Yeah, but then it was like really starting to go down. Jabari Smith was
Mm-hmm.
going number one, and then like the night before, like the Vegas odds now favor Paolo Banchero. It's like, whoa, no one. Not that no one mentioned him, but he was clearly third. And then there's Orlando taking Paolo Banchero. So I don't know if there's other motives behind this, but Brandon Miller doesn't make sense to me as far as the motives. I think more people were attracted to Scoot. So I'd want that out there if Charlotte wanted to do any other kind of dealing. But to your first part, I love everything about Jordan as a player. It just hasn't been the same as someone who's been a decision maker or a governor in this case. And he's leaving. Like, I don't know, let others make that decision.
I just kind of, again, as we do here, I think if you put this story, but put it from a Kings angle, imagine what we would be saying if, and again, Jay pointed this out in the first hour, but Vivek did have quite a history or there was reports that he was quite involved in decision-making processes. But imagine if the Kings had the number 2 when they selected Marvin Bagley and it was Vlade coming out and saying, at the end of the day, it's whatever Vivek wants. It's Vivek's decision. There's no way that goes over well.
We know how that goes over here.
Exactly. Yeah, we do. And it doesn't go over well and he gets killed. And I just because he's Michael Jordan, I just don't think that's a good enough reason to have him make this pick for the future of the Charlotte Hornets.
But if Michael Jordan said Nick rocks,
then he rocks.
Then he probably rocks. I mean, I would believe it. Yeah, I would believe it a lot more if Michael would have said Nick rocks.
Just as long as the value of his cards don't go down.
That's all we care about.
Yeah, exactly.
Jason Ross, we have a half hour left to go on this program. Coming up next, we'll talk about the Kings' decision at number 24 in the draft, as well as you are listening to Kris and Company right here on Sactown Sports 1140 and SactownSports.com.
And the draft is everything. I love it.
Took the first pick in the NBA draft.
Sactown Sports has you covered for the 2023 NBA Draft on Thursday, June 22nd. Who will the Kings select with the 24th pick?
The Sacramento Kings select.
Will they trade the pick? Jason Ross and Chris Watkins will bring you a special Sactown Sports NBA Draft show from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. the night of the draft.
Sactown Sports coverage of the 2023 NBA Draft is brought to you by Power Business Technology.
For all your business office equipment needs, contact them at 844-POWER-BZ or go to powercopiers.com.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Byers Enterprises.
I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. Your Wednesday is here. It's also officially the first day of summer. Today it comes in a little warmer than yesterday, but still below the average. Expect highs in the mid-80s with lows in the 50s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
To protect your home from the top down, start from the roof line up. Get clog-free Byers Leaf Guard gutters, fire-safe roofing from Byers Roofing, and power your home with Byers Solar. Act now for $500 off Byers Leaf Guard gutters at thatsbyers.com.
Hey, Scott, you look great. Yeah, I'm feeling good and have a new job. No, there's something different about the way you look.
To be honest, a few months ago, I had an amazing robotic hair transplant procedure at XL Medicine. It's called the Artist Procedure.
No way. Your hair looks completely natural, and you don't even have a scar. How did they do that?
Dude, the Artist system is amazing. I have this fantastic hairline, and I'm happy with my results. XL Medicine could probably help you too, buddy.
Using the Artist Procedure, Dr. Singh and Dr. Graywall can target and harvest healthy hair follicles with micron-level accuracy from the back of your head and transplant them where you need it. The procedure is painless, and you'll be back doing your regular activities in a couple of days. Ask Dr. Singh and Dr. Graywall at XL Medicine about the Artist Procedure. Call today, 916-932-4470. That's 932-4470 for a complimentary in-person or Zoom consultation, or on the web at xlmedicine.com. That's EXCEL medicine.com. See what the Artist Procedure can do for you.
These are actors and not real patients.
Thunder, see the thunder.
It ignites something inside of you.
Lightning and the thunder.
It's Thunder Valley's $20,000 20th anniversary cash giveaway. 5 winners on Friday and Saturday nights in June. One very lucky guest wins $20,000 guaranteed. See it, hear it, feel it.
Thunder, feel the thunder. Lightning and the thunder.
Thunder Valley Casino Resort. Feel the thunder.
The Gold Rush Classic, where the stars and guitars shine. The Gold Rush Classic is a celebrity pro-am golf tournament, $1 million hole-in-one contest, a skins game, a celebrity draft party, and a concert featuring the Atlanta Rhythm section. The Gold Rush Classic raises money for Make-A-Wish, Jordan's Guardian Angels, First Tee of Sacramento, Rancho Murrieta Youth Sports, and other worthwhile children's charities. The Gold Rush Classic takes place July 13th and 14th in Rancho Murrieta. Come join the fun, raise money for charity, and play golf with a celebrity like Barnes, Fernandez, Jackson, Lloyd, Merriweather, Ostertag, or our own Greg Vaughn. Sponsorships are available at goldrushclassic.org. The Gold Rush Classic is sponsored by Chase Armor at Plan Solutions and Folsom Lake Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram, where a handshake still means something. The Gold Rush Classic, where the stars and guitars shine.
You could throw your flip-flop at a bug.
Ew, a bug, get it.
But the chances of actually hitting it
Over there!
are statistically
It's still alive.
unlikely. Good thing nature's got your back. Stem bug killers combine powerful active ingredients found in plants like lemongrass and geraniol and scientifically engineer them into effective bug-fighting formulas, safe for use as directed around people, pets, and throughout the home. Stem, rooted in nature, optimized by science.
Hey, you want to be around people having a great time? You need to come check out Capital Casino, offering the most varieties of table games in the region in the friendliest environment. Come for the food, which is awesome, of course, and stay and play. Conveniently located in downtown Sacramento at 411 North 16th Street, right there in downtown Sacramento for over 20 years. Cap Casino, best food, best games, and of course, the best action. And please gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Get to Acura of Stockton, where precision-crafted performance is at your fingertips. Elevate your driving experience with a vehicle that's built to impress. Acura of Stockton has a great selection of new Acuras and customer service that will exceed your expectations. And right now, lease a new Acura TLX, MDX, or Integra with low lease rates available. Take luxury to a whole new level in a new Acura from Acura of Stockton. See all our inventory and specials at AcuraofStockton.com.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
I'm Kris Murray with your Sactown Sports headlines. ESPN's Shams Charania says that the Boston Celtics, Washington Wizards, and LA Clippers are in strong talks on a trade that would send Kristaps Porzingis to Boston. Marcus Morris and draft compensations would go to Washington, and Malcolm Brogdon would be sent to the Los Angeles Clippers. Shams says that the sides are still working through the details and Porzingis' $36 million player option. Tomorrow is the NBA draft, and the Sacramento Kings have the 24th pick in the first round, as well as the 38th pick and the 54th pick in the second round. We will have you completely covered with tomorrow's draft, including a special draft show from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. with our very own Chris Watkins and Jason Ross. Sactown Sports NBA draft coverage is brought to you by Power Business Technology. Power Business Technology for all your business office equipment needs. Contact them at 844-POWER-BZ or go to powercopiers.com. Those are your headlines. Let's get back to Chris and Company with Chris Watkins and Jason Ross.
Live and local, it's Chris and Company with Chris Watkins on Sactown Sports.
That is right. Got a half hour left in the program. Jason Ross finishing it up with me, and then he's taking it from 2 to 6 with Jay Johnson filling in for Cattles and Rami, both out today. We have a giveaway today. This is actually a really good one for Bill Burr.
Yeah.
Chris & Co. wants to send you to Thunder Valley Casino next Thursday to check out Boston's favorite angry comedian, Bill Burr.
I got an idea.
Hit the Folsom Lake Honda hotline right now for your chance to win. We are looking for lucky number. We'll go number 3. If you are number 3 on the call line right now, you can win tickets to see Bill Burr at the Thunder Valley Casino next Thursday. Boston's favorite angry comedian. You a Bill Burr guy?
I am. He's very funny.
Yeah, he is hilarious.
Very clever.
Big Bill Burr fan.
Yeah.
One of my favorites for sure. And I believe I mentioned this a couple times already, but me and Jason will be hosting a NBA draft live I guess, recap show as it's going
It's
on.
going to be going on, yeah.
Yeah, I guess it won't
Our
really
reactions.
be a recap. So, yeah, reaction. There you go. NBA Draft reaction, live reaction show right here on Sactown Sports from 6
We're
to
all
9.
part of the same miracle.
All part of the same miracle, man. We're all just trying to make it better.
We'll be on when the Kings make their pick.
Hopefully,
All
yeah.
their picks,
All their
hopefully.
picks, hopefully. Yeah. I mean, 24, 38, and 54. If they make any selection at 24. Again, there's definitely questions out there. Jake Fisher of Yahoo put out immediately after the lottery that the Kings were one of many teams that were shopping, and especially that number 24 pick. And you'd imagine they could maybe package it with Rashawn Holmes and get some form of player back. But I think with 24, whether it be a trade or whether it be taking somebody, I would ideally like to go with somebody who's a little bit older. I don't necessarily think now is the best time to go with one of the young guys, developmental guys. I know there's kind of the counter argument of now is the best time, actually, because it's not as important for this upside swing to actually pan out. But I think just with how the Kings roster is formed right now, to me, I think it's better if they use this pick to actually try and get some form of role guys that can actually contribute to the team next year, kind of like what Denver did with Christian Brown this year. And then we saw there was also we've had tons of breaking news today on the show, including a trade with involving the Denver Nuggets. The Nuggets did send off a 2024 first round pick in order to acquire the 29th and 32nd picks in tomorrow's draft. Got that from Indiana. So clearly the Nuggets now understand they're probably going to lose Bruce Brown, who just opted out of his contract today. So they're going to try and build essentially just with more Christian Browns and hope that they can get some value out of those pieces there.
Yeah, they need more bodies to go with what is a great core. I mean, they're going to keep paying Jokic and Murray and likely Porter and
they gotta
Gordon.
pay Porter,
And then, can Brown, or in this case, Bruce Brown, what he did for them last year, Jeff Green, those type of players that are going to be around, whether they draft them or I think they're also going to be able to get some mid-level free agents or guys that go on the cheap and say, I want to play with Jokic. He makes everybody better.
And what that means for the Kings as well is I'm still digesting this move happening is, I talk about the Kings should go after those veteran guys. That's exactly what the Nuggets are going to do, and now have 3 picks in between the Kings' first and second, where they can realistically poach a lot of the guys that the Kings are probably looking at. I would imagine they have similar big boards.
Yeah, yesterday we on the afternoon show we had Bob Gerald on. We've had him on before.
Bob Gerald.
Yeah, from hoopobsession.com. And I one of the questions I was asking him, and I don't know if you think about this if you're in the draft room like Monty and Wes, but I think it's the Warriors, the Lakers, and the Heat who I deem that are similar situations of the Kings that are picking about 5 picks ahead.
Yeah.
And then like the 4 immediately are like Houston, Brooklyn twice, and Portland. It's like they're all in different spots.
Exactly.
So I'm a little worried about what those Lakers.
Yes.
Like those are the kind
That's
of players.
Where Kris Murray could go.
Exactly.
Right,
Like I don't know that. I think if he gets through there, he might go further back. But is he going to get through there? And who are they picking? Are they guys that are higher on the Kings board? So that's something to watch tomorrow.
Yeah. I mentioned Kris Murray and Jason Ross. I am very, very excited for you to be joining me for something that we debuted a couple weeks ago, and I had a blast doing it. I don't know how much Rami Whitey and I think Simone also joined us in playing this game. It's become a quick favorite of mine. I like to call it Chris or Keegan. It's America's favorite game where we play audio. And it's pretty simple. You got to guess, is it Kris Murray or is it Keegan Murray? You'd be surprised how difficult it is.
Oh, I know. It's
Chris Rillard, take it away.
Okay, I actually like to call it Keegan or Chris.
Okay, for sure. Yeah, my bad.
So, because I just like Keegan
and
more.
Company, gotcha.
So, yeah. So this, I will play you the first one. Okay. I cut up, they're talking about why they're twins and stuff. So this will just be the first one. Your guess is either Keegan or Chris.
I'm solid. I'm shooting mid-80s. I've been in the 70s twice this last summer.
Okay. That's talking about golf.
Do you know the answer to these?
No, I have not.
So we're both playing.
I have not heard any of this audio.
I've got my answer.
I do too.
Yeah.
I think we have the same answer.
We'll see.
1, 2, 3. That's Keegan. That is Keegan.
You're correct. Cool. That is
okay.
Keegan Murray.
I think you're going to realize once Chris plays, they sound incredibly alike, but there's just I'm not going to tell you my secret, but there's a tiny little thing, and I'm curious if you notice.
All right, ready for the next one?
Yes, no guarantee if this will be Chris.
Personality-wise, we're extremely similar. Really chill guys.
I'm still going to go Keegan on that.
That's
one.
what I'm too.
I'm still staying Keegan.
Keegan.
You're correct. That is
okay.
Keegan Murray.
All right.
So do you want to change it up? So this one's definitely going to be Kris.
Right. That's what the numbers tell us.
All right, talking about their golf game.
Kind of our hobby that we kind of got in high school was just golfing together.
Oh man.
I think that's Kris.
I still think that's Keegan.
I'm going Kris.
Kris Murray.
Oh my God. Woo! Okay. Well, maybe I'm not as good at this as I thought I was. Is there anything there that you caught? Like, what made you say Kris?
It just sounded slight. I mean, I also could have hit my head before I walked in. I don't know. Just got lucky.
To me, there's like a slight nasal in Chris's voice that I swear I hear it.
The funny thing is he was on a draft preview. Kris Murray was on a draft preview yesterday and I went, oh my gosh, come on. Because normally if I see twins after what, even if they're identical,
Yeah,
okay, I'll find some
there.
trait.
Yeah.
And then it's as close as you get, but I saw something and I can't even explain it, but I go, I think I could see the difference.
Yeah.
But I also know I would be fooled
There's
too
no way,
sometimes.
especially in person.
All right, ready for another one?
Yes.
So otherwise, personality-wise, we're pretty identical. We're probably the most identical twins you could think of.
That's Keegan. That's 100%.
I
Keegan.
feel like that's Keegan.
That's
too.
Keegan.
That is Keegan.
Okay, God.
See, I think we found out Chris's.
I more just know Keegan. I guess.
All you've said is Keegan.
Yeah, that is true. Wait, I guess that's my strategy. Yeah,
You're 75% right. 3 of 4.
All right, let's see if I got another one.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm going to play these two together. Let me get these ready.
Yeah.
I'm going to play them back to back.
Okay.
So you say who is talking about the. There's one person telling the story and then one person talking about the story.
Okay.
All right. So, come on.
This
thing is just messing up.
Love it when technology works.
Okay.
It's just like, yeah. I mean, it makes like they're identical twins, so it makes sense that there's not. I don't know. Maybe I'm stupid. I just never thought like, oh yeah, identical twins. They have to sound like they sound alike as well. I guess all their part.
Okay, so it's going to be one saying something and then the other person saying another. So you have to guess which one is which.
Okay.
He had a freckle on his nose, but we worked at a pizza place in high school, and he was making dough. Went up to put the dough away or whatever, and hit his head on a shelf, scraped the freckle off. It's a terrible story, but it's true.
Keegan then Kris.
Very good. That was Keegan, and
Keegan's,
that was Kris.
Yeah, Keegan's got a deeper voice. It's just like
here's what I want, because have you listened to I can't think of their dad's name.
Kenyon. It's Kenyon Murray. Yeah.
Have you listened to him talk?
No, I haven't actually. I mean, I have heard him talk. I just haven't like internalized like, oh yeah, like he might sound like Keegan.
He sounds just like both of them.
Really?
Yes.
And like they have very distinct, like, I mean, it's just like a very like, it's almost like a little bit of a Bruce Bochy kind of in a way. It's just like a very gravelly voice. I don't know. There's something about it.
All right, last one.
He likes to just hang out by himself, just watches TV, YouTube, Netflix.
Kris.
I think that's Kris.
What was the key to figuring that out?
It's just a little bit higher of a pitch or a tone or something. There's something there that's just a little more. I said nasally. I don't know if that's it, but there's something there. Keegan's just straight, all just deep, and Kris to me just has a little something there. Am I just going
crazy?
Right?
Yeah, it was Kris.
Okay. What do you hear? Because you just nailed that. You slept.
I don't know. Maybe it's I can
We've
hear
heard
what
Keegan all
is,
year
and
too.
it's just slightly different. I can't even put my finger on it.
Yeah, it's tough. And
like
so,
ever so slightly.
It's going to be a nightmare. I mean, obviously the story would be fun if they get drafted together, but trying to figure out the jersey, whatever. I mean, obviously the jersey numbers will help, but just like in practice, I feel bad for everybody.
Can they field the team? Is there enough Murrays? Jamal,
Kris, Keegan. No, I don't.
We used to have Ronald Flip Murray in the league.
No, when?
Yeah. Oh,
Flip Murray.
Yeah, he was years ago.
I was like,
Lamont Murray. Yeah.
Familiar.
Anyway, that's going to be tough for broadcasters. Murray
to Murray. Yeah. And I
Also, I wonder how much, like if the Kings draft him, I feel like I don't know how much they'll play at the same time. Like I think Keegan's kind of blocking some of his minutes and vice versa, not vice versa, but.
Right. No, I mean, they play similar positions.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, they're the same build of guy. And so, maybe you can throw them out there sometimes, and maybe you can pull some hijinks and be like, oh, we'll just switch, just have them run around in a circle and then have their defender be like, I don't know which one was Kris and which one's Keegan.
Keegan's in foul trouble. You're
exactly.
like, Kris, you're gonna switch jerseys.
Yep.
Yeah,
that would be incredible. And just all the hijinks that could ensue. I'm for it. And they're, as we know, Keegan is a very particular soul, just an interesting fella. I think it would be really fun to have like that dynamic and just see what it brings out of Keegan and just the personality that it would bring out. Well, thank you for playing, Jason. You did better than me. Last time I was the only one who felt like they could tell the difference. So glad to know that I'm not the only one. Coming up next, we got more games. I think I guess this is kind of a crosstalk. So we're going to continue the crosstalk with Jason Ross right here on Kris and Company, Sactown Sports 1140 and SactownSports.com.
The Kings season might be over, but Sactown sports coverage never stops.
I feel like we grew a lot during this playoff series with our defense, and if we can sustain that during the year, that's going to help us a lot.
Stay tuned all off-season to Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com for the latest Kings news.
In this market, you'll find Fisher Investments is different than other money managers.
Different how? Aren't we all just looking for the hottest stocks?
Nope. We use diversified strategies to position our clients' portfolios for their long-term goals.
You don't just provide cookie-cutter portfolios?
No, we tailor our clients' portfolios to their goals and needs.
But you still sell investments that generate high commissions for you, right?
No, we don't sell commission-based products. We're a fiduciary, the highest standard of care for a financial advisor. It means we're obligated to act in our clients' best interest.
So when do you make more money? Only when your clients make more money?
Yep, we have one transparent management fee structured, so we do better when our clients do better.
Sounds like you really look out for your clients.
We do, because our priority is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement. That might be why most of our clients come from other money managers. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments. Clearly, different money management.
Investments in securities involve the risk of loss.
Greetings from M&S Auto on El Camino, just off the Cap City Freeway. And a big thanks to our repeat customers for letting us be your favorite car dealer. Repeat customers make us proud. M&S customers know that they're going to find the car, 4x4, or SUV they want. They'll get treated like family and save thousands. Whether you're a repeat customer or a first-time buyer, welcome. M&S Auto, the intelligent car buying experience. MSAutogroup.com.
Since 1776, July 4th has been celebrated as the birth of American independence, but it's been a federal holiday only since 1941. Hi, this is Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. It was a mere 7 years later when the Keys family opened their first Naturewood store in Sacramento, and I guess Northern Californians have been celebrating ever since. We celebrate an incredible selection of furniture brands made right here in America. We celebrate the kind of generous hometown hospitality that was important to Walter Keys in 1948 and continues with the Keys family and the Naturewood Home Furnishing staff today. And we celebrate the kind of quality that's been synonymous with Naturewood for all these 74 years. Look for made in America brands like Stanton, Sam Moore, Stickley, Hilltop Hickory, Simply Amish, and more during the Naturewood 4th of July sale event. Find the furniture that you will celebrate for years to come. Naturewood Home Furnishings, off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
Did you know that money market accounts offer higher dividends than a traditional savings account, all while still being able to access your money at any time? Hey, Jason Ross here, and I want to tell you to step up your earning power with a Level Up money market savings account at Safe Credit Union. With competitive dividend rates, you can take your savings to the next level. Visit safecu.org/levelup for more information and to open up an account today. Insured by NCUA.
I'm Craig Ashton of the injury law firm of Ashton and Price. Whether you've been injured on a bicycle, as a pedestrian in a slip and fall, auto, Uber, Lyft, or big rig accident, you need Ashton and Price in your corner. When you call Ashton and Price, there's no chatbot telling you to hit 3 for accounting. You're greeted by a real live person who will immediately transfer you to an experienced attorney. The consultation's free, and there's never a fee until you win.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton and Price.
Life is uncertain. It's okay to feel stressed, anxious, worried, or frustrated. CalHope can help. Access CalHope's free and secure mental health resources today. Call 833-317-4673 or live chat at calhope.org.
Live and local, it's Kris and Company with Chris Watkins on Sactown Sports.
final segment on a true Kris and Company. Thank you all for tuning in. Had Jay Mars, Frankie Cardicelli, Emil Fergoso, and now Jason Ross wrapping up the show today. It's been a fun one, and just lots going on today. You know, with the day before the draft, tons of rumors circulating. What will Portland do at number 3? We seem to know what Charlotte's going to do at number 2. There's a trade that happened where Boston acquires Kristaps Porzingis and moves off of Malcolm Brogdon. Tons of action happening day before the draft here.
Yeah, if that Charlotte rumor is true or what they're reporting, that leaves Scoot for 3.
Mm-hmm.
And I know the latest kind of turns in Portland make it sound like Dame to stay, and they add to him.
It sounds like they're going to keep the number 3 pick. All reporting at this moment is they're planning to keep the 3 pick and presumably keep Damian Lillard as well.
Yeah, so I mean, again, it's
that.
back to what we said earlier. It's like you don't do it by position, but if you take Scoot and you have Dame, now we're back into that, okay, acquire talent,
right?
Figure out what you've got, and with Sharp and Simons, like it's a really good backcourt, but it's also a veteran that's been an all-star and Hall of Famer that can fetch you a lot.
That's my thing is like, I
you're
just
not
feel
close
like
to being a playoff team or not a championship team.
Absolutely. And that's the goal. If you have Dame is you're trying to win championships. That's what he's trying to get out of his career while he's still got a chance. And I just think you have a really golden opportunity if you're Portland right now to usher in the new era, draft Scoot at number 3. And like you mentioned, you can get a really good haul for Damian Lillard right now. So to me, that's the clear option for Portland to have success in the future instead of really selling out everything for the next 3 years, which is kind of Dame's championship window. I just don't see how the calculus can equal them feeling like trading the number 3 pick, especially if it's going to be Scoot Henderson. I just don't see how they feel like that's the best move for the Blazer organization.
Yeah, I think there would, and I think you could get Lillard wants to stay. He's been a great Blazer, but I think you can get the fan base excited with a Sharp, Scoot, Simons, whatever you get. Like, let's say
still
it's
got Nas Little,
Tyler Hero, and some future picks, and maybe some money to match up, even if it's an expiring. It's like, okay, we know where you're going now. Like you're not here now, but you got the young Blazers that could turn into something, as opposed to we could try to add that veteran that, hey, maybe it's Dame plays all year and everything works right, but I just think that's a big if.
Yeah, it's a really big if. And again, if I'm Portland, I got to look at that option. And I know it's going to hurt to let go of Dame, but I think it's what's in the best interest.
Don't wait
of
too
the
long.
franchise. No, you definitely don't want to wait too long because it might be too late and you might sink his value completely. Jason, you are the king of games here at Sactown Sports 1140. I want to continue. I'm going to play another game for you. I got you.
One.
Chris is looking at me like, what are you talking about? I got this. I have a game for you called UFC Fight Night or Second Round Pick. So this Friday, Josh Emmett, local Sacramento product, will be fighting on UFC Fight Night. And I looked through the card, and there's prelims, there's the main card as well. Pulled some names here, and I also pulled some names of some lower end second round draft picks. I'm going to see which one. I'm going to see if you can pick out which one is the UFC fighter and which one is the second round prospect.
Can I do another round of Keegan or Chris?
You did so great at that one. Let's start off with, we'll go with a generic name here. Randy Brown. Randy Brown. Is Randy Brown fighting this Friday on UFC Fight Night, or will he be selected possibly tomorrow in the NBA draft in the second round?
Spelled regularly?
Randy Brown. Yep. No tricks.
He's fighting.
He is fighting. He is a welterweight, and he will be fighting on the prelims tomorrow. Or I'm sorry, on Friday. Let's go with a little bit more of an exotic name. Let's go with Wellington Turman. Wellington Turman.
Wellington Turman.
Yep.
We're just going to go with a guess here. I think he's hoping tomorrow night's a lucky night for him in the NBA draft.
Wellington Turman is a welterweight who will be fighting Randy Brown. He is plus 190 underdog. He is from Brazil, and that's all I can tell you about Wellington Turman. Let's go with another generic name here, Austin Lane.
Austin Lane. Austin Lane. I think Austin Lane is fighting.
He is fighting. I tried to trick you there. He is a heavyweight. He will be fighting Justin Tafa on the main card a few fights before Josh Emmett squares up in the ring. Let's go with another one here. Jamal Emmers. Jamal Emmers.
Jamal Emmers is hoping to be drafted tomorrow night.
See, I got you, Jason. I was going to just load the UFC fighters until you got it's a UFC fighter. He's also a featherweight. He will be fighting in the prelims on Friday. How about this one? Mojave King.
Fighting.
He is a shooting guard from the G League Ignite. Let's go through. How about Colin Castleton? Colin Castleton.
Fighting.
He is a center out of Florida. Colin Castleton. Let's go with Adama Sanago? Adama Sanago.
Kris Murray. I'm just going to keep going. Fighting.
He is a center from UConn. Not doing too well here. I think we haven't done Phil Rowe.
Phil Rowe. Oh, he is definitely fighting.
He is fighting. He is a welterweight. Isaiah Wong. One more here. Isaiah Wong.
He's fighting.
He's a point guard, shooting guard, hoping to be selected tomorrow out of the University of
He's
Miami.
going to be fighting to get on his team because he's a second-round pick.
Fighting for a roster spot tomorrow.
That's what I meant. All these guys are fighters.
They're all fighters.
Yeah.
That is so true. Jason, appreciate you hopping on. What do you have? You and JJ today?
We are going to be a lot more about the NBA, these draft rumors, trade rumors, I should say. The draft, the Kings at 24. Yesterday, we talked about swinging for the fences if you're the Kings. We got some names we're going to throw out there on what the Kings and Monty should go for.
We'll stay tuned in for that. Again, you can check out me and Jason tomorrow giving live reaction to the NBA draft right here on Sactown Sports 1140 from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Can't wait for that. Thank you so much, Jason, for spending some time here. For Jay Mars, for Emil Fergoso, for Frankie Cardicelli. My name is Chris Watkins. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and I'll see you tomorrow.